myths about car tires. Okay. Conrad has the racing calendar and the car clinic, and later we'll have the stories making automotive news headlines. Just ahead on this fresh edition of the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy. Along with Mike out of this world Mars.
Where is he?
King Conrad
Where
DeLong.
is he?
We always need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. We have our glasses. We are ready for today's
Eclipse.
Annular.
Annular
eclipse.
Well, I'm glad you pronounced that right, because that could go really wrong real fast.
Right off the bat.
I have a feeling it's going to be one of those kind of shows, don't you?
When do we take these off? I can't see.
They're all one of those kind of shows.
Well, they are in a way. Yes, they are. So we can take our glasses off now.
Okay.
Because I have to tell you.
I don't know.
Thank you,
might
Jeff.
be better off to keep them.
Well, it may be.
Let's see how the show goes.
Randy's going, what are these guys doing?
I know. Well, we can't
Again.
help. We can't help ourselves.
Put your glasses on, Randy.
Yeah, Randy, do you have glasses?
Yeah, he's got them on.
I do.
You got them? Not those
Yeah.
glasses. I'm talking about your Eclipse glasses.
Oh, no, I don't.
So
That's
you
what
just
we got welding shields for.
welding
There you
shields.
go.
Okay.
We'll do that next time.
All right. Well, anyway, thank you for being with us this morning, and we're going to we're going to do that. I did want to start off with UAW news. Ford now has more workers on strike than General Motors and Stellantis, even though it has offered the highest pay among the three automakers. The escalating work stoppage, which began September 15th, was meant to keep Ford Motor Company, General Motors, and Stellantis off balance. But UAW President Shawn Fain said the companies had grown complacent with his regular cadence of weekly updates. That's why Fain played one of his biggest remaining cards last week, abruptly shutting down Ford's largest and most profitable assembly operation, the Kentucky Truck Plant in Louisville. Halting output from Kentucky Truck carries huge financial consequences for Ford. The plant generates roughly $25 billion in annual revenue.
Wow.
With, get this, 8,700 hourly workers building Super Duty pickups and two large SUVs, the Expedition and the Lincoln Navigator. Ow!
1,070. So I'm going to destroy the companies I work for.
Pretty much.
That's his intent.
Yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
Nope.
So at what point do you say, I think that we're just going to
build it all in Mexico?
Build it all. Yeah, that would be Ford's answer, I guess.
But that was their answer. That's why they shut the Kentucky truck plant down.
So there was also talk that the strike would have leaning toward ending by last week, by actually Friday. There was rumors that it could happen. And I know we talked about it, but it didn't happen.
Well, Ford had made some pretty significant concessions at a level that would have been very detrimental to both GM and Stellantis, and the UAW still didn't take them. Ford understands how to, in my opinion, play the game much better than GM and Stellantis does. Ford gave in with some pretty good concessions, and the UAW said, "Yep, not enough. We want more."
Yeah. What are they asking for? 40% raise?
Yep.
40%.
Well, remember, a 40% raise.
I know.
And a
32-hour week.
20% reduction in the work week.
Yeah. It's a lot.
Which I think I said this last week, only means that they're still going to work the same amount of hours, just they're going to get an extra 8 hours of overtime.
Right.
That's going to raise the price of everything.
Yeah. Everything. And I've got a follow-up story that I'll read later on about the fallout with all of the suppliers, because they're starting now to really start to lay off.
You said there was 1,007 employees on strike?
No, at the Kentucky plant.
At the Kentucky plant.
At the Kentucky plant, 8,700 hourly workers.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, my bad.
8,000 at the Kentucky
He's doing the
plant.
calculations on that.
Well, I was just thinking if it's $100 an hour loaded rate, insurance and wages, that
800,000.
means the company is actually not spending $800,700 per hour. They're actually putting that in their pocket even though they're not making cars. I got it. I understand that, but they're saving $800,000 an hour.
And I believe that plant's 2-shift plant. It's not a 3-shift plant. It's a 2-shift plant.
Wow.
So they're running 16 hours a day.
Yeah, I don't know. There's so many things that are involved in one worker at one plant. You just don't know what all is involved in building a truck in this case.
About $12 million a day they're not spending.
I understand what you're saying, but like I've said, it's not just the workers at the factory. It is also all of the workers downstream or upstream, if you will.
Right.
Because of just-in-time inventory. So all of those tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 vendors that are delivering product to the assembly plant for production, they're all going to go out of business as well. Or
That's
lay
right.
off.
Lay off, straight, yeah, because those guys run on much tighter margins.
They're the ones that are hurting.
And most of them, tier 2, tier 3, are not UAW. Tier 1, a lot of tier 1 is UAW.
But it doesn't make any difference.
Right.
Yeah, if they're not building cars. Well, at any rate, we'll talk about more of that later on in the show or throughout the show. Let me put it that way. We got 3 hours coming your way, and we're going to start this morning's conversation with Randy Borcherding, who owns a company called Paint House. And it's a very high-end custom car builder, maker, painter, fixer,
Fabricator.
do-all.
Yeah.
How was that? Have you ever been?
You ever been called a do-all?
Can you put all of that on a business card?
Gonna need a bigger wallet.
And a bigger wallet, yeah.
To put the business cards in.
How are you?
Oh, we're fine. Enjoying this weather. Thank God it finally got here.
Yeah, amen to that.
Does it
It has
impact?
been-
Does it impact? I know it impacts just the technicians' work in the shop. Does it impact your ability to paint the high ambient temperatures?
Absolutely. You got to Thank God I live on the property, because I'll come out and paint at 1, 2, 3 in the morning versus in 115, 120 degrees in the booth. And even then, it's still back over the course of the summer. It was 95 at nighttime.
Yes.
It never cooled off.
That's correct.
So it was just less of a bad thing is what it became. And you just deal with it. You know, they've got special
often-
reducers and
Yes,
things
exactly.
that help you. But
Randy,
nonetheless, go
how
ahead.
often are you in the paint booth on a week?
Some weeks not at all. To do an actual paint job on a project, we're not a production shop, so that might happen once every 3 or 4 months. However, there's always lots of other things to spray.
Yes.
Primers, sealers. That happens way more than painting does, but I guess it's part of painting. It's
Yeah.
spraying a product. And those can be trickier than the actual color and clear coat because of their solid contents. They don't like the heat. They don't behave well.
So, just for those that don't know, I mean, what you're talking about is beyond a primer on the body. You're talking about a primer filler kind of deal.
Sealer.
Correct.
And a sealer.
You've got primers that, like, we use an epoxy primer on the bare metal. That's our foundation.
Right.
It's not so heat sensitive. But when you get into the thicker primer fillers, primer surfacers that you would block sand
Yeah.
to smooth the body, because they're so high in solids, when it's so hot and humid, you really got to know how to handle the chemistry so that you don't get into solvent popping and trapping and things that can wreak havoc later on in the paint job. You may not see it right away. It may show up later. And then you got a real problem that's very expensive to fix.
Do you have that happen to you every once in a while?
Once in a while, yeah, it does.
Yeah.
You follow all the rules and still you get a curveball every now and then, and it's not inexpensive, particularly at this, sort of this level of the game, if that's the right way to put it.
No, well, yeah, for you, I mean, you are definitely top tier. Battle of the Builders winner at SEMA. You're recognized not only by the local people who know who you are and what you do, you're recognized by industry leaders for who you are and what you do and the quality of work that you do.
Yeah. I appreciate you saying that. It's my guys. You know, we have a great team here.
How many guys do you have in there?
Myself and 3 others. There were 4. We recently had a fella leave and go back to his former career in the diesel industry. So if there's someone out there looking, I'd love to hire the right person. It's just hard to find that good fit.
Randy, Jen's involved in this, isn't she?
Yeah, she handles a lot of the bookkeeping and the stuff that keeps us in business.
The paint prep.
Putting the money in the bank when it comes in, and making sure it goes to the right people when it goes out.
Yeah.
And getting insurance and the stuff I don't want to do and I'm not good at doing.
Yeah.
It's the necessity.
So she's actually part of the team too.
Oh, indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So I get, in that sense, there's 4 of us.
Well, let's talk just for a minute about the prep. You know, we hear all the time, and we kind of touched on it just a minute ago. We hear all the time that it's all in the prep. It's kind of like going for a colonoscopy, kind of.
Oh, Lord.
In a bizarre way, maybe
Truly bizarre.
Yeah, but
it's true in the sense that these cars can be a pain in the ass.
Oh, ba-dum-ching.
Touche.
Yeah, good one. But it truly is, and it really starts with the actual primer on the bare metal, because if you don't have that contact, that adherence from the primer to the metal, the whole thing could go south real quick.
Absolutely. That step, that first cleaning of the metal, prepping of the metal, and the product that goes on the metal, if that's not right, none of the rest of it matters.
Yeah, ask anybody who owns a white Chevrolet pickup truck or van through the years where the paint just
From
peels off. Yeah.
In big chunks.
Late 80s, early 90s.
Right.
I remember those. Yes,
And,
sir.
yeah.
Randy, do you take them all down to bare metal?
Yes.
Just so that you get everything?
We occasionally paint over existing products, particularly if it's a repair of some kind. However, almost every time we get bitten in the arse by some problem, some hidden problem, some unknown problem that would have been corrected had we stripped the area.
So tell us about your affection for rancheros, because I see another one behind you. I know you had was that a 70 that you took to SEMA a couple of years ago?
71 went to SEMA. This is a 72, which was the change in the body style to the Starsky and Hutch front end, if you will. Mm-hmm. This is we'll call it a Survivor, a patina car or truck, whatever. Is it a car or a truck? We don't know.
It's whatever you want it to be.
351 Cleveland, the 4-barrel version. This is a Ranchero GT, so it had the higher end engine, the 4-speed, positive traction rear, no air conditioning. It was a neat package.
And the reflective stripes.
The reflective stripes. Just it's a interesting truck, whatever it is. It's going to be fun, but we've kept the original finish on it. We'll just polish it up. The engine's been gone through, just added a mild little sound system to the interior, rewiring the car, just getting the foundation reestablished, and then it's just going to be a fun driver.
Randy, when you paint these cars, and we would just use that one as an example, how do you get into where the door meets the jam, up there where the fender, the interconnection there between the fender and the door? How do you paint that? Do you paint it with the doors off?
Absolutely. We always paint the vehicle taken apart.
Okay. Do you take the fenders? Is that the same holds true with the fenders? I mean, do you take the fenders off and paint them separately too?
Yeah. Yes, sir. I'll walk you over here and show you. So you'll see the pieces here. We've got doors, fenders. This is 68 Cutlass we're doing.
Right.
They're off the car. We'll walk over here to where the car is. It's a little crowded at the moment.
Well, what about the
But
bolts?
here's the body.
Do you paint the bolts too or no?
Oh, no. Everything is done apart, so there's no bolts involved. For example, this one, we've replaced that quarter panel. We've got the car in epoxy primer. This is the foundational primer that we talked about. It's on a Morrison chassis. on top of this primer is where everything happens. The body work that will happen, the priming, the block sanding. Anytime we break through and expose metal again, that epoxy primer is reapplied in that area. So we do it the same day, literally within minutes if we can. I do not want to let any rust or humidity start.
Well, yeah, in Houston, humidity is so damaging to vehicles and paint systems.
I said that incorrectly. Yeah, you can't stop the humidity from starting. It started.
Right.
You just don't want the rust to start because there's wet air floating around it, literally, in our climate.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we are, excuse the reference again, we are anal about keeping the metal protected from day one.
Okay, so what other cars do you have in there besides the Ranchero?
Well, this Cutlass, obviously, we've previously seen a El Camino that I'll walk over to. So it's kind of Chevy's version of the car truck.
By the way, while you're walking over there, I have to ask you, you are going to SEMA, aren't you?
I am not this year. I'm skipping it.
Really?
Tell him where you're going.
And why is that?
Well, the car we had planned to take is not making it out of upholstery jail. And it would probably be here at the last minute, and I'm not in the mood for a week of all-nighters just to get to a show. I've done that. It's proven to be a good thing, but I'm 57 years old, and I don't want to do it anymore.
Well, I don't blame you.
So we're going to skip, and we'll go next year. We should have 3 cars available next year. Hopefully they'll all get to go. And we're going to go to the best-named state in the union, Idaho, and hang out with a customer friend who has a beautiful property up there. I'm taking the guys from the shop and my 2 sons and just going to do a boys trip and do whatever boys do in Idaho.
Hunt and camp and fish.
Oh, yeah.
All of that.
And,
Yeah.
and,
All of that.
and a little brown water.
Uh-huh.
Or a lot of
Perhaps,
brown water.
Yeah.
A little hiking?
Indeed.
So is that a
Hiking.
64 or 65 El Camino?
65. It's also on a Morrison chassis. We've had the hood modified, and it'll have some custom inserts, which it sort of emulates what was in the 67 SS hoods,
Right.
but it never came on this body style. So it'll be an interesting
Blend.
effect. Hopefully look kind of OEM, but people may look at it and go, was that like that or not?
Yeah, I
And
don't
that's
remember
always-
seeing that before. That's what
Yeah.
they think.
That's always my goal, is to do something that makes you think twice or come back a second or third time to look at the car, but it doesn't ruin what's right about the car.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to start searching for you a Chevelle 2-door wagon and see if
Yeah,
I can't
those are bad.
figure out where one of those are.
I
'cause
want one.
That
There
seems
used
like
to
it'd
be
be
one
in your
down in
wheelhouse.
Galveston, but I haven't seen it in years.
Yeah,
I like those.
Is it kind
I'll
of like
tell you
the
what,
pie wagon?
yeah. Well, yeah, they were actually built by Chevrolet for the U.S. Air Force, and
Yeah,
sold
I've seen
directly
several
to the
of
Air
them
Force.
out. Seen several of them in the hot rod world.
Yeah,
Pontiac
The
makes a nice one,
two-door Malibu wagons are
Yep.
very cool.
right. Yeah, it's not a panel. It's got all the glass and
Yep.
everything.
Well, Randy, it's always great to talk to you, my friend. We thank you very much.
I have a question, though, Randy.
Well, wait a minute.
Yeah,
No, you
sorry.
don't have time for a question. You've
No.
waited
Then-
till the last second.
Then I'm going to send him a text.
Where's the
Oh,
Corvette?
you're not looking.
All right.
Where's the Corvette? You done with that?
The 69,
Yeah.
the blue one, we are not done. It's over in the other shop. I was afraid the call would drop if I walked over there. Yeah, it's waiting to be wired. That's its next goal. And then off to upholstery.
And
Upholstery jail.
Which, well, hopefully not. This one hasn't committed any crimes that I'm aware of, so it should not need to stay in jail, I hope. These things change,
done.
though. It's a
Anybody
fluid
else
process.
with any other questions, Mr. Mars?
No. I was just going to ask him if he was taking 3 or 4 cars next year to SEMA if he needed some help, an
And he-
additional crew.
I see.
But I'll ask him offline since we don't have time to ask him
Well,
right
no,
now.
but because you're going to have to probably glom on to something else to be able to go because, his truck's going to be full of cars. Just saying.
Well, I just
Well,
thought maybe he
if you're-
needed somebody to help wipe him down when he got there or something.
Yeah.
If you're volunteering, we can talk.
Randy, we love you, man. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you, and hope to see you soon.
Yes, sir. Thanks, guys. Take
All right.
care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Randy Borcherding.
It's always fun to talk.
I know.
to.
Love talking to Randy. Okay. Time now for the In Wheel Time race card. And the race card is sponsored by Texas Nostalgia Modified Production.
All right.
And racing is coming to an end. NHRA is up in Ennis this weekend.
At the Texas Motor
At the-
Speedway.
at-
No,
at Ennis. And
Texas
Motorplex.
Motorplex, thank you.
And then NASCAR's in Vegas this weekend. Next weekend, they're in Homestead. And then they're back in Martinsville. And then the finale, November 5th in Phoenix. Formula One is in COTA next weekend. Mexico on the 29th, Mexico City on the 29th, Brazil on 11/5, Las Vegas on November 19th. And that's the first time they'll race. And they're racing the streets of Las Vegas. That
Yeah.
should be pretty cool. I think that's going to be an interesting play on how do they shut down the streets of Las Vegas and run 200 miles an hour down the strip or down the
Whatever road,
down the
yeah.
main.
Probably
the
they got a
main
lot of 4-lane
street.
roads, so I could see where they could do the speed, but like you say, shutting it down could be an interesting trick.
And then this weekend, as well as the finale for IMSA, and so with the Cadillac DPI cars and kind of the final run for the Corvette in IMSA as well, because that class is going away. And it's going to be kind of
The
Corvettes.
Corvette's moving to some other class or something.
GT4.
There you go. There you go.
But they're kind of going to be their swan song at IMSA. Hopefully they can pull it off and win. But that's racing this week.
All right. And by the way, on television, NHRA qualifying Sunday afternoon, beginning at noon on FS1, and then the finals are following that at 5 on FS1 on Sunday. No, not 5, at 3. So it's at noon, and then noon and 2, whatever. It's on FS1. Go
Be there.
there if you dare. I refuse to pay for it, so I'm not doing it. Time now for Jeff's feature. This week it's debunking 7 myths about car tires.
7 myths. I get this all the time. What about this? What about that? Well, tires are one of the most important components of any vehicle, but plenty of passenger tires myths need debunking. And all new cars come with a spare tire? Not necessarily. It used to be standard practice for cars to come equipped with a spare tire, stored in the trunk, of course. However, around about 1 in every 3 cars sold do not have a spare tire. Instead of a spare, many cars come up with an emergency tire inflation kit containing sealant, air compressor, and temporary seal patches. That's common practice nowadays, so be careful. If you're looking for one, ask your dealer. The digits on the sidewall show tire pressure. Well, not necessarily. Some drivers mistakenly believe that the series of digits molded into the sidewall of their tires indicate the correct inflation pressure. Not necessarily true. Sidewall digits actually provide the tire size specification, maximum inflation pressure rating, not the recommended pressure for your vehicle's tire. So be careful. Do not read that and think, oh, that's what it needs to be, because it's not. Look at the placard on your vehicle. Look at the manual. Call your dealer. Call a tire store. They'll be able to help you. All-season tires work in all conditions. Don't be misled by the name. All-season tires are not optimized for year-round performance in every condition. All-season tires provide decent traction across a range of conditions, similar to a Swiss Army knife. A lot of other things going on with that tire build. However, all-season tread rubber stiffens dramatically, Mike. So be careful.
Well, I'm kind of wondering about that
Yeah.
because I kind of assumed that's what all season meant.
Well, in optimum
So
conditions.
another myth
Yeah,
debunked.
another myth debunked.
Been debunked.
Tire performance does not depend on materials. The quality and performance of a tire depends on many complex factors, including a variety of materials used in the construction. Modern passenger tires contain over 200 different raw ingredients: synthetics, natural rubber compounds, steel, nylon, silica, so on and so on, even black carbon. That's where you get the blackness of the tire. So there you go. The next one to be debunked would be, should you drive on flat tires? Well, pneumatic tires all share a common enemy, and it's called the nail. While it is true you should not drive on a flat tire, that may no longer be a worthy cause. Revolutionary airless tire technology from companies like Michelin and Goodyear aims to eliminate flat tires and blowouts entirely. Michelin has an Uptis airless tire replacement, which is a flexible tire. It's a thermoplastic spokes that absorb impacts. This allows the tire to avoid typical punctures and maintaining a good, smooth ride for the vehicle.
Hey, let me ask a question while you're talking about that.
Yep.
Run flats. A lot of cars come with run flat tires,
Sure.
which are kind of an emergency. You can run on a flat tire to get off the road.
Right, for a short distance.
Yeah. Are they repairable, a run flat, like a regular tire is, where you can patch a hole in it?
You could probably do it once and maybe not get away with it for very long, but it's not really designed for that. You probably could. I'll say.
But a run flat, typically you should replace it. You should
Right,
repair
right.
it. Okay.
And now if you put a plug patch in, it actually lowers the rating of the tire every time you plug it. It lowers it down on the spectrum. So the next one would be passenger tires. Are they the same as race car tires? Are they similar? If you think that tires on your Camry or your F-150 resemble those of a Formula One or NASCAR race car, think again. High-performance racing tires are engineered for maximum grip, speed, and durability. Pirelli, when I worked for Pirelli, they always had the point of their engineering for the road came from racing. Well, it is true, but they're not really the same. So the last one to be debunked are EV tires, or EVs don't need special tires. Well, they do. Believe it or not, Tesla and other electric vehicles require specialized tires developed specifically for their unique characteristics. The heavy battery, that's the whole impact of that, Conrad. The heavy battery, which means the EV, more weight pressing down on the EV tires. EVs also deliver instantaneous maximum torque to the wheels and increasing tire wear. So there you have it.
That's another one of those things that doesn't get advertised with EVs is some of those special things you got to worry
And
about.
the cost. Don brought that up too with the cost of it not very long ago, a week or so ago.
$900 for one tire on an EV, a Tesla that had a flat. All right, well, the In-Wheel Time Car Talk show is available 24/7 through the iHeartRadio app. Just look for In-Wheel Time Car Talk. We also video stream on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. Podcasts at your fingertips on over a dozen of the most popular podcast outlets. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk show will continue right after this quick break.
Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet and GM Performance has the absolute best price that you're going to find on GM parts, transmissions, and engines in the country. With the largest inventory as well that you're going to find in the U.S., Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet and GM Performance has what you need and has the best customer service to back it up. Contact one of our Texas team members for quotes and get that on your dock or at your front door as soon as possible. Rogers Dabbs GM Performance, best inventory, best prices that you're going to find in the United States. Rogers Dabbs GM Performance.
The original group of Lupi Tortilla restaurants will have you telling your family and friends just what the original recipes mean when it comes to the best fajitas in Southeast Texas. Founder Stan Holt invites you to visit the original Lupi Tortilla near I-10 and Highway 6. Here's the original house that inspired the design of all the rest and the original charm that helped make Lupi Tortilla the go-to destination for Houston Tex-Mex. Speaking of original, nothing can compete with the original lime pepper marinade that everyone will agree makes Lupi Tortilla award-winning beef fajitas the best anywhere. Lupi Tortilla Katy is another location that gives you the same quality and service Houstonians have come to expect at Lupi's. It's located just off I-10 of the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard in Katy. Find yourself in Aggieland? Head to the Lupi Tortilla in College Station, located just around the corner from Kyle Field. It's a great place to enjoy those famous frozen margaritas before or after the game. Headed east to Louisiana, stop in at the Lupi Tortilla in Beaumont. It too's on I-10. You can't miss it. The original group of Lupi Tortilla restaurants invites you in for the best Tex-Mex anywhere. Houston's finest cars are invited to another Gulf Coast Auto Shield Car Social, Saturday, December 2nd, and you're invited too. Show off your personal pride and joy, or just stop in to see the likes of Lucid, Lamborghini, Porsche, Ferrari, and more. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your one-stop shop for paint detailing, coatings, window tint, clear bras, and wheel repair. The Car Social is your opportunity to get a tour of this state-of-the-art facility, located at 11275 South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. It all takes place Saturday, December 2nd, 9 to noon. This is the perfect opportunity to connect with other car enthusiasts. From BMWs to Bentleys, Corvettes to McLarens, the Car Social is a different kind of show. Talk to the owners. See Gulf Coast Auto Shield's facility. You'll be amazed. Put it on your calendar now. The Gulf Coast Auto Shield Car Social, Saturday, December 2nd, 9 to noon at 11275 South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there too. We'll see you then. Welcome to the In Real Time Car Talk Show. Coming up, we talk about things. I've got the Hemmings Sold Cars Roundup. That's always
can't
fun.
wait.
And Jeff's got a little thing on wires in cars.
Hey.
It's just a little thing, Jeff. I'm just saying. Shut up, Mars. In Real Time Car Clinic. What are you going to do in the car clinic today?
We're still doing fluids. This time it's going to be washer solvent.
Ooh,
Washer solvent.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a story about washer fluid. So there's that. Plus, we're going to have the stories making automotive news headlines this week. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars. King Conrad DeLong. We need more Jeff Seekin.
Yep.
I'm Don Armstrong. Mars down there like a little teenage girl on his cell phone.
Yeah. I'm so happy, though.
I bet you are. You always are when you're on your cell phone.
Free Britney.
So I had somebody ask me again this week, what does Mars do?
He keeps
He's the booker.
he keeps this into the table level.
That's it. That's right.
He's the red of our red, white, and blue. That's what he.
There you go.
like
Yeah.
that.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
Yankee Doodle.
Yeah.
Oh, just a small update for friends of ours is at NHRA, stock eliminator Speedy Emmons is qualified 11th and Jerry Emmons is qualified 12th. Stan Holt in Superstock is qualified 3rd, and Dale Holquist, our other friend, is qualified 4th.
Oh, my gosh.
Where's the chick?
We're
with
getting
the
a
stick?
Wally. We're getting a Wally.
Where's the chick with the stick?
I'm looking. I haven't seen.
Who is Stan's wife?
Sheila.
That's
Yeah,
people
Sheila
that don't
May.
know.
Yeah.
And then Harvey Emmons is qualified 30th. Gary is 33rd.
So
Superstock.
We're gonna
I don't
we're gonna
see
put the
Sheila.
Wally right up here somewhere. We'll
No,
get
don't
it.
Because
see
we've been
Sheila.
promised a Wally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he wins one, he's going to give us a Wally.
I got a neighbor named Wally. We could bring him in. we could set him
Can
down
we-
right there.
right there.
Can we
Is the
paint?
guy's-
Can we paint him gold?
Is the guy's name really Wally?
Yeah, he's a brother of Ezekiel.
Is it?
He's
Tony!
He's Beaver's brother.
Oh, my God. We've got a new pilot. His last name is Ward. I said, do you know Ward Cleaver? He said, who?
He's that young, huh?
Yeah.
Well,
everybody
and
is.
This is the bit of trivia. Whitney 12786. That's their phone number. That was allegedly the Cleaver phone number.
Was it?
Whitney
How would you know that?
Because it's some trivia thing that
We
stuck
should
in my
call it.
head.
Because he watches Me TV.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah.
Actually, the Andy Griffith Show, it's on my agenda. As soon as I get home, I have to turn
Kathy
that
hates
on.
it because I'm always watching Perry Mason.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said that. I've not gotten into Perry Mason, nor have I got into the other Andy Griffith Show.
RFD. or
Mayberry
whatever.
RFD.
No, the
Matlock.
where is the attorney?
Matlock.
Yeah. All right. Hemmings publishes their sold cars roundup once a week, and Hemmings Marketplace it's called. And people can put their car on there to sell their car. Some of them are just regular everyday drivers. Most of these are collector cars, if you want to call it that. There's some customs on here, but very few. And so I pick out what I think is something fun for us to look at.
So is this for us? Who comes closest without going over?
Oh, you get a score sheet. Look at that.
We're gonna
He's
start
score it.
scoring.
Okay, I like it. Yeah, let's do that.
You hadn't scored since the 70s.
I scored twice in the 80s because I have 2 kids.
Apparently, there you go. All right, so our first car up is for Jeff,
Uh-oh.
and that would be a Cadillac.
Yeah.
This is a 1973. And so whatever it is, it doesn't make any difference. It's huge.
Humongous.
The 1973 Cadillac Eldorado.
Oh, yeah.
Convertible.
Oh, my God. Is it
Beautiful
Brits?
car.
It's a red-on-red convertible.
Brits?
It doesn't say that.
Okay.
It's stunningly beautiful. Of course, it may be full of rust. We don't know those details, okay? I'll show you the picture in just a second. So what is your guess of the price of this car? It looks good.
We'll start with Mike.
It looks
I'm
it
going
looks
to go
stock.
with 22,000.
Mars is at
'Cause it's a
22.
convertible.
Okay,
I'm going to say 28.
28.
17.
17. Really? Well, all of you are wrong, but
No?
close. You're not close.
No.
It went for $26,250. and
Mars
there-
got it.
and
Mars
there-
wins because he didn't go over.
He didn't go over.
Oh, yeah. It's
Oh, you
pretty.
didn't want to do the Corvair pickup truck, Don?
No, I don't. I
I like
don't.
those
no. Maybe I shouldn't be
Do
giving,
that with a V8.
I shouldn't be
Okay,
giving
next-
you that.
next.
All right, next up. A 1963 Chevrolet Impala convertible.
63 Impala ragtop.
Highly desirable car.
Yes. So keep that in mind when you guess the price.
46.
35.
Mars?
25.
Well, the sold price of the 1963 Chevrolet Impala on Hemmings Marketplace was $53,550.
Wow. Holy
That's
moly.
a lot of dough.
It is
For a
that
car that probably cost about $2,000 when it was new.
Well,
and
yeah,
it's
in
not.
that
It didn't
neighborhood.
say it was an Impala SS or
No, it
anything
no.
like that.
No, I don't know those details.
You could probably
Well,
get
I know,
that if you
but I mean-
clicked on it and drilled down. They'd probably tell you
Yeah,
all
but
that.
Yeah.
That's not the purpose of this. This is
Yeah.
a general overview. Okay, so I had to put a classic in here. Okay, a 1957 Chevrolet Bel Air. White
Okay.
walls, black exterior, red interior.
And Bel Air was top of the line in 57.
Yes. Yep. So let's start with Mr. Mars. What would be your guess on something like that? It looks good. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah, but those things that you're looking at stupid money. I'm going to say
Pull that
50.
microphone closer there, Mr. Non-Radio.
I'm going to say 50.
50,
I'll say 55.
32.
$43,050.
Yep. Well, we'll give that to Jeffy because he didn't go over.
Yeah. But
They're like a dime a dozen now.
well,
Yeah, but when they original like that, that's nostalgia. That's somebody's. Oh,
Baby.
I had a memory whenever I did this.
But when you sell it, who's going to keep that memory? They're going to tub it out,
They don't-
LS it.
you don't buy that kind of car
I
for
would.
that.
Well,
I
you,
would.
you might.
Yeah.
You
No,
might.
you buy
No.
that because that's where you.
What
conceived
condition
one
is
of
it?
your kids or
Is
something.
it got rocker rust, all that? You don't know.
No,
You
it's
can
This
see
one
one of your
here is
kids in
the-
a 57
it's cherry.
Chevy Mars.
it's not an original. It's been
Tweaked.
no, it hasn't been tweaked. It's restored to an original look. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
We don't know if it's got an LS in it,
Oh,
but
we left that out.
I
didn't
don't know
know.
any of that. Why would you do that to a 57 car that's all looks stock?
I mean, either you
I would
put
never-
it cherry factory or you resto mod it and be done with it.
I
There's
would-
no
I
in
know.
between.
Either way, it could go on Hot Rod Tour Texas. Either way.
Yes, it could.
Oh yeah.
All right. For you pickup lovers, the 1994
Uh-oh.
Chevrolet 1500. It's a two-tone because they had that different color down along the rocker panel.
Yeah.
It looks like it's got a custom grille in it. It's got updated headlights on it. It is. It looks to me like it's either a crew cab or an extended cab. It's not a single cab. So 1994 Chevy 1500. It's clean. Looks like it's got Corvette wheels on it or something. But it's not overdone. It's not crazy. It's nothing like that. It looks like a stock pickup truck with those old stock mirrors on it. Very clean. Okay. It's 94 Chevy 1500. How much?
I'll say 50.
50. Mars?
Say 15.
Okay.
$8,000.
17,850 is what it sold for. 17,850. Which,
They're very popular, but that's the little bit earlier in those square bodies.
yeah, it's 1994.
Yeah, it's just
You
it's
don't
coming out of
see a
that.
lot at car shows.
No.
This is for Conrad. Not that you could fit in it. None of us could, I don't think. A 1987 Fiat X19.
Oh, gosh.
It looks like it's in process of being restored. So my guess is
So it is on a tow truck.
no, no, but it's close. It's on drive-up ramps.
Ah.
All right, it's red in color. It's got tires and wheels on it, but I don't know. It may
Well,
or may
tires and wheels doubles the price.
well, it may not. It may not have a motor in it based on the price. So there's a hint as for the sold price on this Fiat X19.
And it's actually on Hemmings?
Yes, it's on Hemmings sold car
Times
weekly
must
roundup.
be getting hard.
I'll say 2,000.
No, I'm going to say 5.
5,000.
I'm tossed. I'm 3,300.
$1,900.
See, he threw that one in there. And
Yeah. I
get
finally
moving.
got one.
He finally got one.
That's on Hemmings.
Now, to me, this would be highly desirable. To me, personally.
69 Camaro.
Nope. But it's not that far off. This is a 1964 Chevrolet El Camino.
No, very much like Randy showed us on.
Correct. Well, no. It's maybe the same body style, but it ain't like
ain't
what
what-
he's got.
yeah.
It's a driver. It's clean. It's one color. It's that, sky mist blue or whatever it is.
Aqua.
Yeah.
And what year done?
1964 El Camino.
First year.
I'll say 12.
I'm going to go 18.
I'm going to go 10.
Mars, $19,950.
He's into that old stuff.
You know,
Well, no, it's an emotional buy at that point. It's not. It's like, ooh, that's cool. No, it's like,
Did you conceive one of your kids in that?
something like that. It's always something like that.
Or you
It's an
had one at
emotional
one
buy.
time, yeah.
Yeah. Or I wish
Right.
I'd have had that because Joe Blow had one in high school, and it was.
see if that based on the price, I'm not sure about what condition it's in.
But it's not that. It's
Just
not that.
dropped in to see
It's
what
very-
condition my condition was in.
It's a very square body, like the one that Randy
Very
had.
square,
It's got
yes.
a little more style to it because they upgraded it, but it's pretty plain.
64 El Camino for 19.9. See, I've
Still a pretty desirable.
keep
'cause that's
having
the-
these pangs about getting rid of the Corvette.
You're getting rid of the Corvette.
I said I have the pangs, PANG''S.
They have drugs for that now.
I know that. So I'm thinking,
It's called a car
I would
note.
really like to have
Cash.
something along that line and cash. And I don't know. It kind of speaks to me, but not totally.
Nah.
Just saying.
Well, if you have one out there, send it to Don. And
This
we'll
is
look
for
at
you,
it.
Mars.
He'll road
And
test
no,
it
this
for
is
you.
for one of your grandkids. Okay, because you no. 1984 Toyota Supra.
Ooh.
Yeah,
It's an 84.
So that's
Yeah.
a Mark III.
it's an 84 Supra. I don't know anything about the details of it. Okay, it's
I don't
it's
know about
black.
Supras.
It looks stock. And with that model year, it's probably got 300,000 miles on it.
Yeah, but it could have 1,000 horsepower.
Yeah, I'm
I-
betting it doesn't have either one.
No, it doesn't. It
For
looks,
being on Hemmings,
it looks-
if it was on Bring a Trailer or something, you might.
yeah. We don't know the rust level or any of that sort of stuff, and that's in that era of
I'll
rust.
say 28.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm thinking more like 17.
10.
Jeff wins. No, actually, none of you win.
What?
Because it sold for $4,000.
Super cheap.
Here's one. This is for, let's see, I don't know who this is for. It's not going to be me because I'm not big on that body style, but a 1948 Chevrolet Fleetmaster looks like Grandpa's car, except it was painted yellow. And it's got some
Grandpa drove a taxi.
Jason's got a 50 Fleet line.
Oh God, this is not my cup of tea, but apparently it's a pretty nice car. Let me just leave it at that. 48 Chevrolet Fleetmaster Canary Yellow, 2-door.
5,500.
Mars,
7,500.
9.
well, $25,700.
Is it
I must have missed something.
is it Tweedy yellow? Like we
Yeah, it
had
is
Tweety?
Tweety Yellow. Yes, yeah. Here's one for you, Conrad. A 1972 Ford F-350 camper.
You won that one? Camper, I like it.
$16,000. All right, here's a high boy. 32 Ford Roadster.
Ooh.
32 Ford Roadster. Black. It's a convertible. obviously, and it looks like a full custom,
Doesn't say
except for the frame.
2 roads.
Doesn't say anything about the
32
motor.
No, I don't have that.
Don't see any
information.
blowers or anything.
No,
like-
there's nothing sticking out of the hood because it's too damn tall.
All right. Then full fenders?
No fenders.
No fenders. Okay, 43.
Ooh, I was going to go 44.
35.
Conrad, $34,650. Now that would be something that I would be interested
you went
in
over.
buying. Road tripping.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I agree 100%. That's the reason I went 43 because
I need
if they
more room.
got much under the hood or a seat in the back, then they're up over 40.
No,
Yeah, but-
I've got the car for you.
No, you got. I need
I
more
got
room
the car
inside.
for you,
Okay.
Mars.
I need a car.
Okay, this is perfect. This is right up your alley.
I need it.
It's got wood grain paneling on the side of it, vinyl. A 1992 Dodge Grand Caravan.
Hold me back. Hold me back.
It's still in the crate.
No, it's not in the crate. This
It's got
is
wood. It's got the wood.
It's
crate
got
on it.
yeah. 92 Dodge Grand Caravan. Jeff, your bid
7,000.
5,000.
5,000. Your bid
I'm going to go 10.
$800.
Why is it on Hemming?
That's why. That's a Craigslist car.
Oh my God, that's funny.
That's truly bring a trailer because that's the only way you're going to
Well,
get it
that-
home.
Well, you got to get your TR6 off it or TI, whatever that was.
The Fiat X43.
XT19.
Yeah,
whatever.
X19.
Oh my God. Well, that was fun.
Love it.
All right. So we can do news, or has anybody got anything else? You want to do the wires?
Hey, we do the wires. Let me get to the
talk wires.
Let me get,
Let's talk wires.
let me get to it. I'll head
Because I will tell you, there is nothing more confusing and more complicated than a wiring schematic of a car. It is the most bizarre, messed up, jacked up. That would drive me totally insane. That's why Richard Tomlin at Apex Auto Works has the Corvette trying to find the drain on the battery.
I'm telling you.
Well, I found this because I was researching how many parts in a car. I was just doing some noodling around the internet, and the majority of today's vehicle faults are electrical rather than mechanical, Conrad. You know that. And we don't need 1,000 words to explain it. But recently, this is what happened, and this is what I found, that Bentley has released a fascinating image of its Bentayga SUV that reveals its incredibly complex wiring harness. Just like the nerve cells and fibers that transmit crucial pulses across the human body, the harness is responsible for interconnecting the Bentley's vast electrical network. There are actually 7 different networks at play in this photograph, operating at different speeds for varying uses, but all are integrated to share information as necessary. Virtually all modern cars feature such electrical networks through only the related, as in an Audi Q7, especially the advanced SQ7 variant. This is where it comes into play. Both the Bentayga and the SQ7 feature the world's first, get this, Conrad, 48-volt electrical system, which is secondary to the main system and is commonly a 12-volt on today's cars. So it's 48. Both the Bentayga and the SQ7 feature the world's first 48 electrical system, as we talked about. The 48 system is used for the electromechanical active roll control that gives the Bentayga and the SQ7 variable axle speed, their articulation depending on the weather, and the SUV traveling on or off the road. If you're wondering why it's so complex, there are barely any features that are dependent on it. Everything you have in that works off the electrical system. Beyond common driver assistance features such as electronic stability control and hill descent, the Bentayga employs multiple camera systems, adaptive cruise control, traffic sign recognition, bird's eye view, semi-automatic parking, and infrared night vision. So all of that is in a wiring system.
And all of those different networks, multiple modules talk on a network. So it's called in the car business, it's called multiplexing or CAN network, which is controlled is a common area network. So, and all of those different networks all talk at different speeds. Multiplexing, GM kind of started putting in cars back in the late 80s, early 90s. And the way it works is you've got 7 or 8 modules that are talking on one wire, and each module knows the sequence of when the next module is supposed to talk. So it starts with A, the next module talks B, the next module talks C. And if it gets out of sequence, that's when your check engine light starts coming on and it starts throwing codes. And one of the biggest code fears in technician world is a U code, which U code means it's a communication code error. So one of the modules either isn't speaking in their space on the multiplex, or it's speaking out of turn on the multiplex, and can be extremely difficult to diagnose if you don't understand how it works, and can be very expensive for inexperienced people to repair, because the first thing they do is they just start throwing modules at the car.
Yep.
And
cutting wires and reconnecting stuff.
well, you can't cut wires anymore in a car.
Yeah, you'll really mess it up.
That's why.
It was fascinating to look because it looked like a circulatory system, and that's what
Yeah,
I
that's
said to you.
exactly right.
Exactly.
And the 48 volts. Now, today's modern vehicles, be it a car, SUV, or truck, have over a mile of wire in their vehicles.
Oh,
in 1948, I think they said it was like 110 feet of wire in a vehicle back then. So anywhere from 3 modules to now infinity.
Well,
and
they've been
beyond.
talking about going to a different voltage in the system
Yes.
For years.
Because of all
for
the-
years
yeah.
because there's too much to operate with just a 12-volt system.
Right.
And it's no longer a single battery system. There's always in the modern cars now. Some of them have 2 batteries.
And many of the modules will start setting codes if the battery voltage goes low, because if the battery voltage goes low, things stop working. So then they get out of sequence on these multiplex.
In other words, it gets
circuits.
all jacked up.
It kind of
all
relates to
jacked
what
up.
you're experiencing with the Corvette, I
Correct.
guess. Yeah.
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 A seat switch. You keep pointing at your computer like
because
I'm
we
supposed to
have
know.
somebody on there. Well, that's because the guest is here.
Well, I know. Are they scheduled to be here right now?
Yes.
They are.
Yeah.
Oh. All right. Well,
Anyhow,
Remember that was the thing
we're
I
just
told you
glad she's
about
here and
this
she's
morning.
on time.
okay, Gina.
Hello, guys.
How are you, Gina?
I'm here. How are you?
Well, we're here. So it's good to see you again. I haven't spoken with you in quite some time. We're Facebook friends, so I keep up with her through Facebook, but that's about it. So tell me what's going on.
Oh, same old stuff. A little bit of racing, a little bit of working.
Yeah? Mr. Mars, can you help me here?
Well, so Gina has got a new endeavor,
Okay.
and so she's going to give us a quick look at what she's got going on, because they're now advertising with us.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Of course. Man, this is a place to advertise.
Yes.
That's for sure.
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about
Yeah,
what you got going on, Gina.
I am working with and for Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet. They're out of Brandon, Mississippi. It's a small dealership with a huge parts department. They're the number 2 powertrain dealer in the U.S.
Wow.
And what they hired me to do is to kind of grow their performance side. They just, got the performance side about 2 years ago, and they came to me when I was running Mobile and wanted to sponsor the racetrack and wanted to put up a sign to sell engines. And I said, you're going to have to do a lot more than that to sell engines to race car drivers. And I told them I'd help them with that. And when I left Mobile, they called me up and said, hey, we want you to do the same thing. And here I am. So I basically sell any GM parts, engines, transmissions, anything GM, OEM parts, everything. But my focus is on performance. I can sell it all, but I really build relationships with the racetracks, advertise with them, go to drivers' meetings and meet the racers and tell them about our engine program.
Well, it's funny because back when I worked at the Chevrolet dealership here in town, Richardson, which is not in business anymore, that we had a catalog called GM Performance Catalog, and it was like the Bible for everybody that was in the streets. And I assume that they've got some form of that today.
Oh yeah. Well, and it's crate engines, crate transmissions,
Right.
the combination of engine, transmissions, control modules that you can buy anywhere from a 300 horsepower package on up to 1,000 horsepower package and a 10-speed transmission. So it kind of goes the full range of what you want for a street car. You know,
Soup to
Jeff
nuts,
Jeff talks about tub it out and put an LS in it. This is where you'd go to buy your LS, because you could buy the transmission, the engine, and the engine control module all together, all designed to work together and basically bolted in. Another thing GM Performance does is they actually sell a spec engine to certain race categories, certain race series. They're required to buy that spec engine, a sealed engine from General Motors, to run it.
Correct.
And Roger Dabbs would be a location they can go get it through as well.
That is correct. And I'm a firm believer in the crate motor program. Now, I know there's certain classes, I believe as a racer, there's certain classes where you should have an open engine. It should, like a modifieds. That's why they're called modifieds. But there are also classes that a crate motor benefits because of the cost. When you have a field of 15 racers, and let's say 3 of them have a beefed up engine, which is a straight crate that they send off and have additional horsepower found in it. So you have a guy, the 3 guys running $50,000 engines, and you've got the other 12 guys running a $6,000 engine. Halfway through the season, those guys are going to get tired of chasing, and they're going to start missing races and saving money and going to Disney. You got to love this level's the playing field. Yeah, it really does. A crate motor. I'm excited to be a part of this part of racing because I firmly believe in it.
So along with the racing, though, there's the street performance side of it, the hot rodders. You know that if you're building a car and you want a crate motor, I mean, that's an easy way to get your get a motor and transmission together to put in there that you can rely on.
And a fully integrated system. You know, that's the beauty of what General Motors does, is it's a fully integrated system. The engine and transmission are paired together, and the ECM controls both of them, knowing what each of them can do. So it's basically a plug and play.
And I just looked online, and it's really an easy thing to remember. RDC123.com, Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet Performance.
That's right.
How did I do?
That's right. You're awesome, as usual.
And we're gonna roll your commercial right out of the box here.
Yeah. So Gina, we love you. Thank you. It's great to talk to you, and we will be in touch soon.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. Looking forward to it.
You bet.
Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet and GM Performance has the absolute best price that you're going to find on GM parts, transmissions, and engines in the country. With the largest inventory as well that you're going to find in the U.S., Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet and GM Performance has what you need and has the best customer service to back it up. Contact one of our Texas team members for quotes and get that on your dock or at your front door as soon as possible. Rogers Dabbs GM Performance. Best inventory, best prices that you're going to find in the United States. Rogers Dabbs GM Performance.
The original group of Lupi Tortilla restaurants will have you telling your family and friends just what the original recipes mean when it comes to the best fajitas in Southeast Texas. Founder Stan Holt invites you to visit the original Lupi Tortilla near I-10 and Highway 6. Here's the original house that inspired the design of all the rest and the original charm that helped make Lupi Tortilla the go-to destination for Houston Tex-Mex. Speaking of original, nothing can compete with the original lime pepper marinade that everyone will agree makes Lupi Tortilla award-winning beef fajitas the best anywhere. Lupi Tortilla Katy is another location that gives you the same quality and service Houstonians have come to expect at Lupi's. It's located just off I-10 and the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard in Katy. Find yourself in Aggie Land? Head to the Lupi Tortilla in College Station, located just around the corner from Kyle Field. It's a great place to enjoy those famous frozen margaritas before or after the game. Headed east to Louisiana, stop in at the Lupi Tortilla in Beaumont. It too's on I-10. You can't miss it. The original group of Lupi Tortilla restaurants invites you in for the best Tex-Mex anywhere. Houston's finest cars are invited to another Gulf Coast Auto Shield Car Social, Saturday, December 2nd, and you're invited too. Show off your personal pride and joy, or just stop in to see the likes of Lucid, Lamborghini, Porsche, Ferrari, and more. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your one-stop shop for paint detailing, coatings, window tint, clear bras, and wheel repair. The Car Social is your opportunity to get a tour of this state-of-the-art facility, located at 11275 South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. It all takes place Saturday, December 2nd, 9 to noon. This is the perfect opportunity to connect with other car enthusiasts. From BMWs to Bentleys, Corvettes to McLarens, the Car Social is a different kind of show. Talk to the owners. See Gulf Coast Auto Shield's facility. You'll be amazed. Put it on your calendar now. The Gulf Coast Auto Shield Car Social, Saturday, December 2nd, 9 to noon at 11275 South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there too. We'll see you then. I love it when a plan comes together. From Studio A in Texas, USA, it's the In Real Time Car Talk Show. Coming up, we're going to talk with the founder of Smarter AI. We'll have the upcoming events calendar. Mars reviews the new GMC Canyon, and later you'll hear the stories making automotive news headlines. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World, Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We always need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us today. Okay, Mr. Mars, it's all yours.
Wrong headset.
If he puts the right headset on.
Come on, Tony.
I had to swap headsets.
Come on, Ezekiel. You got this.
Yes. So coming up, we are going to talk.
No, we're not coming up. It's just
It's
right
right
here.
right now.
Well, I still
Why don't you
hear
introduce us to
music in the
Chris?
background. In the background.
In the big ground.
Yeah, in the background.
Come on, Mars. You
All
got
right.
this.
So we're going to be talking with Chris.
No, we
Pichet.
are talking.
We are talking with Pichet. Chris Pichet. Am I saying that right, Chris?
Yes, you got it, Michael.
Okay. Took me a while, but I had to
Thank you.
practice. I'm not as good at that as you are, Don.
Chris, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
We,
Thanks.
pardon our interruption, Chris.
Yeah.
You know, it's not our fault. It's all Mars' fault.
There you go.
And we've played with this for years and years and years, and it's always the same. It's always Mars' fault. So no matter what it is, somebody let the dog
Just
out.
like being at home, you know.
That's right. So when he drives his 90 miles over here, he just continues feeling the same way that he does at home. Beat up and put down. So at any rate, well, Chris, it's great to talk to you. Tell us what Smarter AI is.
Smarter AI is a software platform for AI cameras, including the kind of AI cameras that are used in vehicles for different applications, including driver safety and autonomous driving.
Okay, and how does it? So in other words, is it like a distance keeping thing when I turn on the cruise control, or is it more than that?
It's more than that. So our software platform can support any number of cameras. The cameras can be what we call OEM cameras, so designed into the into the vehicle and installed in the factory.
Yeah.
The cameras can also be aftermarket cameras, so the kinds of dash cams or other vehicle cameras that that different people in the audience have probably put into their cars already. And then once our software platform is in place, it can be used to download different AI models onto each camera. So
And what do you mean by that? What do you mean by AI models? What does that mean?
So an AI model, I'll use a smartphone analogy. You can think of our software platform as being similar to Android or iOS. So in the same way that Android and iOS manage your smartphone, our software platform, Smarter AI, manages your cameras. And then with your smartphone, as we all know, we can download different apps onto our phones, whether it's for email or documents or social media or whatever. In the same way, our customers can download different AI models onto their cameras. And each AI model enables the camera to detect a certain kind or a certain set of objects or of actions. So I'll give you a couple examples. One of our AI models helps with driver assistance or autonomous driving, and it does that by constantly monitoring the distance between your car and the other cars around it, including especially the car in front of you. So it'll keep the appropriate distance to the car in front of you if we're talking about autonomous driving. Or if we're talking about driver assistance, it'll warn you if you're getting a little bit too close to the car in front of you. On the other hand, there are other models for problems like texting and driving. So as we all know, texting and driving is a huge problem, and it's only getting bigger. We have AI models that will detect if the driver is not paying appropriate attention to what's happening in front of the vehicle.
How does it do that? Does it look at your eyes?
It does a few things. It'll look at the orientation of your head. So if your head is pointing a little more down than it should, it'll also look at, as you said, it'll also look at the direction or orientation of your eyes. It'll look at the rotation of your head. All of that together, we just call that the head pose. And then, of course, it'll look at if there's different objects, like if you're holding one of these, it'll spot that pretty quickly too.
That is truly amazing.
Is the camera adjustable?
Yes, the cameras are typically adjustable. At least if we're talking about aftermarket cameras. If we're talking about OEM cameras, they will generally not be adjustable because the engineers that designed the car will make sure that they're aligned perfectly for whatever the purpose is. But if we're talking about an aftermarket camera that somebody would install in their own vehicle, those are typically adjustable, yes. Obviously to take into account different different types of vehicles, sizes of vehicles, and so forth.
So can the AI function do object recognition to know that that's a person in front of my car, or that's a child's toy, or that's another vehicle?
Yeah, absolutely. So the AI cameras and all of the models that run on these cameras, they all perform object detection. If we go back to the texting and driving example, obviously we're going to detect, okay, there's a driver and, there's a phone. If we're talking about the sort of AI model that would help with autonomous driving or driver assistance, then it's going to detect objects that are commonly found outside of the car. It's going to detect different traffic infrastructure, stop signs, red lights, lane markings. It's going to detect two-wheelers. It's going to detect other vehicles, pedestrians, and it'll constantly monitor all of those things. And obviously, it depends on the AI model, but typically, the purpose of the AI model is to monitor those things and to warn in case of any unsafe situation.
So you basically are the software component of it. And if I'm the manufacturer, it's up to me to put whatever cameras, and then I come to you and say, this is what I got, and this is what I want it to see. I want it to recognize a person in front of me. Or I don't necessarily need to do that. I just want to focus on a car. Is that kind of the way it works?
So a couple of things. In terms of, getting the cameras into your car, that can work in a couple of ways. As you described, Mike, if you've got a particular kind of camera that maybe you've already installed it, or you just happen to think it's appropriate for your fleet of vehicles, yes, we can generally get our software to work with your cameras. More commonly, though, a customer will come to us and ask for a complete solution. And so we, have relationships with a few different camera manufacturers. And it doesn't matter if you've got a big rig or a passenger vehicle. We typically have a partner that we work with that manufactures the right kind of camera form factor for whatever kind of vehicles you have. Now, once you have the cameras installed, the process of enabling the camera with different AI models, that's something that can happen over the air in real time. So in the same way that, I bought this smartphone, I didn't necessarily have to know all of the different apps that I would eventually download and use on my phone. I can change my mind, or maybe 6 months after I bought the phone, some new apps come out and I want to try those. The same thing is true of our cameras. So typically customers are buying our cameras, for some sort of specific, immediate problem that they want to solve, whether it's texting and driving or driver assistance or whatever the case may be. But then once the cameras are installed, customers can pick and choose and download additional models, to solve other problems.
If I had this camera and this software installed in my fleet of vehicles, would I be able to pull that information live from the car, or is it all recorded types of information?
Well, both. So our camera platform supports what we call Edge AI, and what this basically means is if something unsafe is happening either inside or around the vehicle, the camera can alert the driver immediately. Typically within, say, less than 100 milliseconds. At the same time, all of these events, they can get collected in one of our servers. And so if you're managing a fleet of vehicles, you can aggregate all of these events over whatever period of time. And you can use what we call big data to do predictive analytics based on all of this data. So in other words, you can identify, Mike's a little bit heavy on the accelerator.
Yes, he is.
Based on the last 30 days of data.
Understatement.
Maybe we should, have a little chat with Mike about laying off the accelerator. Or maybe you've got somebody else that is a little bit more distracted than they should be when they're driving, and we need to talk to them about putting the phone down. Or whatever the case may be.
So would you work with insurance companies for discounts or different rates by having this product in the vehicle?
Yeah, absolutely. So that works in both directions. We work with insurance companies, and they supply or recommend our cameras to their customers. On the other hand, some customers approach us, and they know that if they have a camera solution like ours, they can get a better rate on their insurance. So they'll.
So I'm thinking maybe perhaps we're going to start changing the name from Smarter AI to Big Brother AI. How's that?
What about?
Did I get the impression though that I, as an individual consumer, could use your application, get your cameras, and put that in my car?
You can.
I want to watch my teenage kids or something.
Yeah, so exactly. So most of our customers are vehicle fleets,
right?
But absolutely, we do have
kind of a consumer grade.
We've got consumers that are using our cameras either in a situation like you described, Mike, where there's maybe a new driver in the family. Or somebody just wants to police themselves.
Well, you could also use it for like an Uber driver or a Lyft driver would always have that. Yeah. They do that now with their smartphones and whatever aftermarket cameras they have, but you see that in the cabs.
And what about litigation? I've had an accident. You talked about this information's downloaded to your server, so you're actually downloading recordings to your server, and that could be accessed for litigation in the future?
Yeah, so we call that exoneration. With our camera platform, we are what we call a data processor. Our customers are the data controllers. And so what this means is that each customer can decide for themselves what data they want to record, what data they want us to store for them, how long they want us to store that data. So it's up to each customer to make their own decisions about that. But yes, typically customers are retaining this data for a certain period of time. And in case there's any kind of incident that they would like to investigate, they'll have that data.
And you have, and I know the phrase will be wrong, you have live operators that are, if it's within the company's constraints, you have live operators that can be observing what's going on, or is this purely AI that says, hey, knock, 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 something's wrong here, pay attention to it?
Right. So we, Smarter AI, do not have those kinds of human operators. We run a software platform, and we enable all sorts of AI with our cameras. Some of our customers have, whether it's a fleet manager or whatever title they might give the person. Our customers have different people that are responsible for, either it depends on the use case, but probably in most cases they're responsible for the safety of the fleet. If you think about different industries, they might be responsible for the timeliness and the quality of a service. If we think about something like waste management or street sweeping, and so for people like that, yes, our camera platform does support what we call live streaming or live view, and the fleet managers can actually monitor what's happening in real time and make any decisions that need to be made.
So, Chris, I guess that you have the information regarding the acceptability and the uptake, if you will, of self-driving cars, and that has become a major issue for self-driving cars, particularly in San Francisco. We've seen them all bunched up together, and they've had a big brouhaha out of the streets, and one of them, I think recently, it may have been Las Vegas, I'm not sure, a self-driving car ran into the side of a fire truck. So is self-driving, is everybody going, wait just a minute, maybe this isn't such a great idea?
I think that based on the mainstream media coverage, you might think so. But there's a lot of data that suggests the opposite. So first of all, as we all know, Tesla is the leader in self-driving cars.
Right.
And when somebody buys a new Tesla vehicle, the self-driving features are not included. Somebody has to pay an additional $10,000 or $15,000 to get the self-driving option.
Uh-huh.
And there are hundreds of thousands of people every year that are buying that feature from Tesla. So these people are, voting with their wallets that this is something that they want to have.
So if I'm a manufacturer, then I'm going to go, well, maybe I need to offer that as well.
Legacy car manufacturers are they're playing catch up right now, but they all have at least some sort of lane keeping and distance control, and they're all working towards the same sort of
emergency braking systems.
I think there's been rumors that Ford might be thinking about licensing the self-driving technology from Tesla. I'm not sure if that's going to happen or not, but certainly you're going to see eventually all of the automakers are going to have this technology.
So, Chris, do you have a website that we can get more information about smarter AI and learn more about what we're talking about today?
Yeah, because I got lots more questions.
Well, you ain't got time.
Smarterai.camera.
Seriously, smarterai.camera?
That's it.
I had no clue that there was a camera address. Okay, well, that's great. Chris, we could talk to you for the entire show. Can we call you back maybe in a couple of weeks and redo this again?
Or can we just peek in on your camera when you're in the car?
Let's do both. I'll set you guys up with some software to take a peek at my car and
do it for Mike. I want to see Mike.
Yeah.
I'll send you one for Mike, and I'll look forward to coming back on the show whenever you'll have me.
Well, how cool is that?
My daughter works in the space industry, and she has always called herself a nerd, but at the peak performance of nerds. And I'll tell you what, man, I love nerds. And obviously, I've got one in the family. So this kind of falls under that category in the past. Today, not so much. It's like, wow, I want to be you, But, Chris, it's great to talk to you. Thank you so much. Great information. And we look forward to rejoining and picking this conversation up here in a couple of weeks.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you very much. Chris Pichet.
How cool is
that? Yes, exactly. With Smarter AI.
Yeah, I've posted his link on our social media.
Very nice. Well,
camera. Who knew?
Who knew? Yeah, exactly. All right, time now for the events calendar, and Conrad has events, and I have an event that it's actually an event / cruise in that I'm going to go to. It's taking place today. Matter of fact, it started at 8:30 this morning, goes to 3 o'clock this afternoon. Good Grub and Gears car show and fall festival down at the Stevenson Park in Friendswood. So I'm going to go. I'm leaving here at 11 o'clock when I get off the air, and I'm going to head down there.
So if you're listening, get a parking spot for him.
Yeah, save me a parking spot. Or not, I don't care. Anyway, go ahead.
And you remember today is the All British Car Show at the Butler House off Gosling Road in Spring. So if you've got a wrecker and a trailer, bring a trailer because they're going to need to haul some of that stuff out of their parking lot. Friday, October 20th is the 38th annual Wolf Creek Car and Truck and Bike Show in Cold Spring, Texas. October 29th is the all Bronco meet in Katy, Texas at 5733 2nd Street in Katy. Should be pretty cool with the blend of older Broncos and the newer Broncos.
You would think, yeah.
And I'm thinking OJ may show up with his Bronco.
Absolutely. That's what we need to have there.
Mm-hmm. And then I know we're going to have Northside Mustang Club on here shortly. Well, they're getting together with the H-Town Camaro Club. And they're going to be having a meet at the Anheuser-Busch Brewery together and doing some fundraising. The Camaro Club is raising money for families of fallen heroes through the 100 Club, and the Northside Mustang Club will be making donations to Honor Flight for Houstonians who fly veterans for their first visit to the war memorials in Washington, D.C. Both of them very honorable charities to be involved with. So, and
my father went on that, and he was in a wheelchair even, and it was great.
Honor Flight,
yes.
And then, of course, Northside Mustangs having their fall open car show November 4th at Bull Salas Park in New Caney. Also, October 28th is Turbo Fest in Waco, Texas. Veterans Weekend is the 17th annual Heroes and Hot Rods Veterans Day weekend in downtown Bastrop. Visit BastropAreaCruisers.com for more information.
Thank you, sir. Time now for this hour's car review. Mr. Mars has the Kia Kona.
You're not going to let me live that down, are you?
Last week, you see, he gives me the information that he's going to do the Kia Kona. No, it wasn't anywhere close to the Kia Kona.
It was a test.
It was a
test of my ability to comprehend
the emergency broadcasting
system. That's right.
So this week, we're going to talk about the 2023 GMC four-wheel drive Canyon Denali Crew Cab.
Okay.
Now, it did get the Canyon got a full redesign in 2023, and now it only comes in a crew cab, short bed. All four trim levels get the off-road suspension. So you're talking about the Elevation, the AT4. I believe you had the AT4X last week. Mm-hmm. And then Denali. Now, I was driving the Denali. The Elevation comes in two-wheel drive. You can option it up to a four-wheel drive, but the other three levels come with a four-wheel drive. Now, this is a mid-sized truck, but now this is a rather large mid-sized truck. And I did a little bit of looking. When first in 2004, it was 207 inches long. It's 213 now. So 6 inches really isn't that much in length.
Well,
but the difference is,
if you say so,
it's 13 inches higher. The height on it's 13 inches more.
30 seconds.
And it's actually an inch taller than my 2015 full-size truck. And so it's got the redesign. You know, out front, you're going to find LED lighting all the way around, the front lights, fog lights, rear lights. We had the assist steps. It's a 5-inch chrome step on a mid-sized truck, and to me, it works great. My wife loved it, but for me, it's a little too high. I could have done without them, but she loved it. We had the sunroof. We had the tailgate storage compartment. Now, this is the compartment. Don talked about it last week. I'd never seen it till I actually got my hands on it, and there's actually a really nice compartment in the tailgate. I showed it to some friends of mine, and they thought it would be great. You know, put wet stuff back there. One guy even said, "Man, I could put my rifle back there." I went, okay, yeah, you can. But anyway, 18-inch wheels are standard. We were rolling on some 20-inch dark gray aluminum alloy wheels. Inside, because we had the Denali, we are absolutely sitting here with some really nice leather seating. The front seats are heated and ventilated. Now, the rear seat folds up, and it's got storage underneath it. I went to put some stuff back there, and I was looking for a flat floor. It wasn't. But the actual storage underneath there was a lot better if you were putting some things up underneath the seat. Had the 11-inch digital instrument cluster, 11.3-inch touchscreen where we had the nav system, the infotainment, all your convenience controls, surround view camera. We had a premium audio Bose speakers, 7 speakers.
Sound like Kermit there. For
it was really.
He's excited.
Yes, because I cranked that little baby up. And the controls, I wanted to say in particular, the controls above the wireless charger were very easy to reach. Once you figured out where everything was, worked like a champ. Up under the hood, 2.7-liter turbo, high output, 310 horsepower, 430 pound-feet of torque. And again, this is a four-wheel drive is standard on this vehicle, 8-speed automatic. EPA says you should be looking for 17 in the city, 21 on the highway, 19 combined. Now, I drove this car 244.7 miles, and I got 16.9 over that time frame.
Lead foot.
Well, and I will say, because of the turbo engine, you might think a 2.7 liter is kind of small, but it has plenty of power. It has a nice power range, and you get up to the top end of it. It needs a little more air, but it worked great at where you would normally drive it. Now, I will say it's also very off-roady in the ride and handling. And by that, I mean it's firm because that's the suspension you're going to get with it.
It's a truck.
And it caught me, I guess, a little surprised because it was Denali. I was expecting something a little more soft, I guess. But it's not. It's very focused on the off-road components of it. I like the way that it sits up high because of all that. You got a great field of view whenever you're driving it. That worked perfect. Base trim price. Base model price of the Elevation is $38,095.
Not bad.
The base trim price for the Denali is $51,000. As tested, $53,999. Now you might look at a Ford Ranger, which you can get a Lariat four-wheel drive for $38,985 on the bottom end. Toyota Tacoma SR5 $38,555, and even a Jeep Gladiator you can get it at $38,775. So, and you're in that base trim level, they're all basically in that same price range. They're about the same price. If you're looking at the Denalis, I would absolutely look at this particular vehicle.
It's a good-looking truck. I mean, physically, it's a good-looking truck.
It's one of the few vehicles my wife asked me if we could keep it.
You know,
wow.
I will tell you this, and I
like the extra 6
rarely
inches?
say this, that I really do like this, the GMC, the Colorado, the Canyon. I like those. I like the way that they look, and I like that turbocharged 4-cylinder engine.
Well, they've been
Works
redesigned, too, and that makes it.
Want to remind you that this program is available 24/7 on iHeartRadio. Just search In Wheel Time Car Talk. We also video stream on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and InWheelTime.com. 30-minute podcasts at your fingertips on over a dozen of the most popular podcast outlets. The In Wheel Time Car Talk show continues right after this quick break. The original group of Lupi Tortilla restaurants will have you telling your family and friends just what the original recipes mean when it comes to the best fajitas in Southeast Texas. Founder Stan Holt invites you to visit the original Lupi Tortilla near I-10 and Highway 6. Here's the original house that inspired the design of all the rest and the original charm that helped make Lupi Tortilla the go-to destination for Houston Tex-Mex. Speaking of original, nothing can compete with the original lime pepper marinade that everyone will agree makes Lupi Tortilla award-winning beef fajitas the best anywhere. Lupi Tortilla Katy is another location that gives you the same quality and service Houstonians have come to expect at Lupi's. It's located just off I-10 and the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard in Katy. Find yourself in Aggie Land? Head to the Lupi Tortilla in College Station, located just around the corner from Kyle Field. It's a great place to enjoy those famous frozen margaritas before or after the game. Headed east to Louisiana, stop in at the Lupi Tortilla in Beaumont. It too's on I-10. You can't miss it. The original group of Lupi Tortilla restaurants invites you in for the best Tex-Mex anywhere. Houston's finest cars are invited to another Gulf Coast Auto Shield Car Social, Saturday, December 2nd, and you're invited too. Show off your personal pride and joy, or just stop in to see the likes of Lucid, Lamborghini, Porsche, Ferrari, and more. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your one-stop shop for paint detailing, coatings, window tint, clear bras, and wheel repair. The Car Social is your opportunity to get a tour of this state-of-the-art facility located at 11275 South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. It all takes place Saturday, December 2nd, 9 to noon. This is the perfect opportunity to connect with other car enthusiasts. From BMWs to Bentleys, Corvettes to McLarens, the Car Social is a different kind of show. Talk to the owners. See Gulf Coast Auto Shield's facility. You'll be amazed. Put it on your calendar now. The Gulf Coast Auto Shield Car Social, Saturday, December 2nd, 9 to noon at 11275 South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. We'll see you then.
Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet and GM Performance has the absolute best price that you're going to find on GM parts, transmissions, and engines in the country. With the largest inventory as well that you're going to find in the U.S., Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet and GM Performance has what you need and has the best customer service to back it up. Contact one of our Texas team members for quotes and get that on your dock or at your front door as soon as possible. Rogers Dabbs GM Performance. Best inventory, best prices that you're going to find in the United States. Rogers Dabbs GM Performance.
It's the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Coming up, we're going to talk to Vernon Wilhelm with Northside Mustang about the car show judging clinic. He's also got an event coming up, but I want to focus on that car show judging clinic.
Absolutely.
I mean, anybody that has ever gone to a car show would be interested in that. If you're a real car person.
For two aspects. One is
The judging
to
aspect.
be the judge.
But also to go to a car show and see what the judges are looking for, and then you can be your own judge, or you can take the information back to your club and say, look at this, we've got this, and I've got the info, I know how to do it, all of that sort of thing.
Why did he pick that one over that one?
Yeah,
What makes
exactly.
that one better?
That's right.
$20.
And we're also going to have the automotive news headlines this week. We got to get that in, by the way. Hey, thank you for joining us, along with Mike out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We always need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us. It's a beautiful day here in Southeast Texas. Perfect for everybody. Got your glasses?
Yeah.
Perfect
Where's my
for-
glasses?
And I'm going to tell you something. Inside, it's like looking at a black chalkboard right here in front of your eyes because you can't see a thing. But this is so you can look at the sun and see the eclipse that's going to happen at noon Central Time here in Southeast Texas. All right. Ready?
I wonder
I
if
think
Stevie
we're
Wonder
ready.
needs these.
So Vernon is going to join us on his iPhone, apparently,
Yes.
because he doesn't have any video.
Yeah, we're a little
So
problem.
you're going to
with
have to
video.
look at us while we talk to Vernon. It's kind of like a phone call, not a
It
video
is-
call.
It is a phone call.
It is a
from
phone
an
call.
iPhone.
Okay. So at any
Now that you
rate,
mention it.
Vernon Wilhelm, good morning, sir.
Good morning, guys.
Hey, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate you. Northside Mustang Club. This is a Randy Weldon kind of a thing with Randy.
Randy's very involved in it.
Yeah.
He's involved in a lot of stuff.
Randy, well, you know, it's kind of like dandruff. It's really hard to get rid of. I don't know where
It's always there.
Got to
So-
have hair to have dandruff, Don. I'm out.
you're out. Well, no, you're not.
So is
totally
Randy.
out. So exactly. So you guys have an event coming up here pretty quick.
Yes, we got an event coming up on November 4th. Right now, we're right at about 80 vehicles already registered for the show. We expect probably at least that amount coming in. So we're probably looking at around 150 cars at this event is our hopes.
And what is the event? Is it strictly a Mustang event?
No, this is an open event. There's 45 classes all the way from the Chevys, Dodge, imports, Fords, everything is there. We have a little bit of everything. Matter of fact, we even have a place for that electric car.
Really?
Wow.
Okay.
So you got 45 classes. How many
It's in
judges?
the back, but they got a place for it.
How many judges are you using?
We'll probably have 10 to 12 judges at the show.
Good. And you're going to have them split up for specialty stuff, for this bunch of judges for these classes of cars, and then this bunch for a different class, that kind of thing?
Yes, we do not. The way that I set up these shows are a judge will only judge this one class, and he will judge the same class, so that class is getting the fairness from one judge and his perspective of the vehicle throughout there. We don't have two people doing two different class or the same class. Otherwise, we get a little bit of range on personal preferences and things like that. So we try to keep that to the one judge throughout the entire show.
So if you've got 12 cars in the class, that means that one judge is going to have 11 guys going after him out of the parking lot because they
Well, it's better than 125, though.
Well, there's that. I'm just teasing. I know how it works. Yeah, I get it. So that's going to be on November the 4th. Is that right?
Yes, from 9 till 2. We'll have the awards at 2. We actually have indoor parking. Indoor parking, when we put this on the website, in 2 weeks, indoor parking was gone. We still have a little bit of covered parking left, and then we got all the outdoor parking.
And so where is it going to be held?
Bull Solace Park in New Caney.
Okay. Wow, they've got undercover parking and stuff like that, huh?
So basically,
Yes.
roughly the intersection of 99 and 69, kind of the northwest corner of that intersection.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
So, and I see that you just so happen to have a thing called the Northside Mustang Judging Clinic, and a clinic to learn how to judge a car at a car show. And as I mentioned, I don't know whether you heard it or not, but this would be good for anybody really to go to. If you're into cars, whether you're a judge of that car show or not, to gain the knowledge of what a judge looks for when he's judging a car. And obviously, there's all different ranges of judges. Some are particularly focused on antiques, classics, customs, those kind of specific people.
Categories.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
But it would be good for anybody to go to.
But yeah, there's also, there is the training also, not besides just the stuff that you're looking for, whether it be cleanliness, workmanship, creativity, the stories behind the vehicle from the owners. But you're also, we want to go over the etiquette on how to judge a car. How do you correspond with the car owner? Those kind of things. You want to understand, how many miles has the guy driven his car? What does he put behind it? Those kind of things. We want to, understand when we talk to them, the story behind the car a little bit there. So and let them understand, introduce ourselves, make them understand what we've got going on, where and what we're going to be doing. And then of course, when you finish, you'll thank him for bringing his car, and beautiful car, those kind of things. Those are the kind of things. There's more to it than just the actual going out there and actually going over the car. I mean, because we want these people to continue coming back to these shows, and whether it's ours or anybody else's show, and they're not going to do that if they're not treated fairly.
Well, I have to tell you that I'm a big fan of Wayne Carini, and I was watching. They had taken a car that he had to a very prestigious, I don't know whether it was Pebble Beach, one of those really prestigious shows. And one of the things that I had never experienced in all of my years of showing a car was the judges going up to Wayne and the actual owner of the car and the guy that prepared the car. And there was kind of like a little back and forth between them, and the guy that prepared the car and the owner were pointing out things to the judge. These are the things that I have done. I've taken particularly care of this sort of thing, and a little bit more about the car than the judge might have known.
The story behind
the story behind the car, where the car came from, all of the work that had been performed to the car prior to the show, the details, the paint, all of the things that was important to the car owner and the builder of the car for the judge, that they felt it was necessary for the judge to know. And I thought that was really something. I'd never experienced that personally when I showed my car.
I'm an MCA National Gold Card judge, and one of the first things I do at the national events, the first thing when I introduce myself and talk to them, I ask them if there's anything that's happened to the car on their trip, because it's unfair to judge. Somebody gets a rock chip because they're coming down coming down the road to get to the show. They didn't have time to get those fixed, and you can tell by the type of car and what they do with the car that this is not the norm for them. But you want to make sure that you're looking for those kind of things when you judge that car.
Well, at that, and the fact that, look, you don't know when you see the car and or the owner that what neither one of them have been through. This might be Don Armstrong that's never been to a show. He's showing his car for the first time, and he's got the car locked up and the hood and the trunk closed like a moron because I didn't know.
Why are you looking at me when you say that?
We always look at you.
Because I leave my trunk closed because my trunk's full of stuff.
Yeah.
We know that.
And what's piled on top?
And you're obviously feeling very guilty about it.
No, not at all. You have to have a conscience before it can feel guilty.
Well, I guess so. But so Conrad really is not a judged car show kind of guy. And I've had to kind of guide him. At least roll down the windows, Conrad, so people can see inside. Get all the crap out of the back seat. Throw it in.
I did.
Throw it in the trunk.
Organize the seat belts so they look nice.
That's it. Because you get those things when you go to a car show, but just like, well, how do I apply that to my car? Well, this is how.
Okay. And that's something that we talked to the owners. I might last car show up in Silsbee. Judging, there was an individual that brought his Jeep in and he didn't have the hood open, and I explained to him, just went over with him and said, look, he goes, well, it's not clean. I said, well, lift the hood, you get some points. A closed hood gets you 0 points. An open hood, maybe you only come out, instead of the 10 points, you only get 5 points or 6 points because you didn't get to that part of cleaning, but you still got some points.
Correct.
True. Yeah.
And not only that, but if you open the hood, if you've done nothing to it, it gets points just because it's a stock engine. It gets points.
And if you're,
Yes.
you have the desire to, you might actually go in there and clean it up a little bit so it looks a little bit better.
Get you some kerosene on a rag and go over the stuff.
Yeah, wipe the stuff off. But that also helps the show because people want to see what's he got under that hood.
Yeah.
And like if it's a Jeep and it's a little dirty, people look at it, it's a Jeep. It's supposed to be dirty.
Yeah. If it's got some off-road mud caked up underneath the hood, that's okay.
Yeah. From a spectator's perspective, so which all enhances the show as well as the judging.
I've actually seen a Jeep shown that it looked like it just came off the Rubicon with mud up and down the side
There you
of it. And then it's same thing under the hood.
Exactly.
And, I don't know whether they got points for that, but whatever the case may be, it certainly made the point that it's an off-road vehicle.
Yes. And they're the spectators, the kids, they're coming to see that kind of stuff, and they'd rather see that dirt on the car on something like that.
Sure. It's no different really than an original car that has a very heavy patina on it because it sat out in somebody's backyard for 20 years,
Correct.
So Vernon, let me ask you this, because we've seen this. What happens when a guy shows up with a barn find, a true barn find, and he hasn't washed it? He wants to leave it exactly like he found it. And we ran across this with a Mustang one time down at the airport.
And Ellington, he still had cobwebs inside the Krager wheels. I remember that car.
Yeah.
Yes.
So is there a way to judge something like that other than just being in awe of the fact that it still exists?
Yeah, I mean that's another conversation you have with the owner, because the things that you're looking for on a show like that. I mean, it's almost you run into those shows that will have under registration or originals or things like that. It almost has to have the same class, because if you're not judging fairly across the board, it is really, really hard. But I'm like you, or that owner, because I also seen the car. I'm not changing it. I want it the way that it is,
right.
The way that I found it. And that's what, and he has to come to that understanding. I mean, it's a hard line.
So you would still judge it against its peers because
for what it is.
For what it is, and obviously then it's not going to do real well because he hasn't cleaned it up and stuff, but that's a personal choice.
But that's what Vernon talked about, was that interview of the owner gives you an insight to not necessarily how to judge the car, but what to judge the car for. Is that correct, Vernon?
Yes, and you got to look at somebody like that, to own a car like that. they're probably not really interested in winning that award so much as they are wanting to get their car, and they're fine because we all saw that car. I mean, he had all the write-ups on it, all the stuff. That was his award of all those people coming by and looking at that car and what he found and what he has. That's his real award.
And the real reward is what us talking about it how many years later, because it stood out to us as something that was truly remarkable and very different that you would never, ever run across. At least I'd never in all of my career of looking at cars.
Vernon, and all of the shows that you've been a judge at, what vehicle stands out for you?
Well, I mean, of course, I look for not only, the cleanliness out of the car, but I look for that workmanship, that creativity in the car, what somebody has done to their car. Those kind of things are the things that stand out to me. What is a person, and even if you have a new car, there are people out there doing things to their new cars that you would not believe, and the creativity that they do to those cars and the things that they add to those cars. It takes you back. You get done with that judging, you go back. I can do this to my car, or I can do this. I mean, there's those things you take away.
Well, and one of the cars comes to my mind on that is Jason's Mustang. And I can't ever pronounce his last. Sakaro. Because Jason spent a lot of time and effort in dressing his car, and it's a relatively new generation Mustang, but he gets recognized for the work he's put into that car all the time at various shows. And that's kind of what you're talking about. It might not necessarily be that this is a one-of-one GT350 that was an SCCA competitor vehicle. It may be, this is one of, 6,000 that were built, but this owner took the time to dress it a certain way and present it a certain way, and you want to recognize them for their time and effort, not just the car itself.
Yeah, and that was the question I guess I was trying to ask is there a particular car that you fancy more than others?
Oh, I mean, I don't have one. I mean, because I got the 67 Fastback, but my favorite Mustang is a 69 Mach 1. I've always loved the car, and I still say to this day I'm going to have one sooner or later, but I got to convince my wife too.
There is that. Yeah, I think that every judge has got a favorite car. It may not be at that show, but if it is at that show, as a judge, it's kind of like the sideline judge of a football game. You've got to be neutral in your perspective of the car and how you judge it.
Correct.
Yeah.
One of the things we were talking about for our November 4th show, we have, and here in Houston, and they signed up for our show. It is one of the 150 pre-production Mustangs that were built by Ford before the release date. It's he has a documentation on the car, and it's believed to be the first convertible Mustang built by Ford.
Oh, wow. What a piece that is.
Is he a local guy?
Yes, he's a local guy here in Houston.
Wow.
And he signed up for the show. So we look forward to seeing him and going. We had another individual that signed up for the show, and we talk about the history, and he just signed up for the show. He has a Chevy truck that he was his dad's, and now it's his, and he's been going through it, restoring and everything, but he took his first driver's test back in the 70s in this truck. He learned to drive in the truck.
Very nice.
And he still has it.
Well, Vernon, it's great to talk to you. We appreciate the time you spent with us this morning. So the judging clinic is October the 29th, and it's going to be held up in Magnolia. And Conrad's going to post all that information, I guess, on our Facebook page or put a link to it anyway. And then the big show for you guys is November 4th.
Yeah, so on that judging clinic, if anybody is interested in it, they need to look at that flyer, reach out to us, reach out to me, call me. I'll put them on the list because we plan on feeding everybody while they're there too.
Very nice. Again, Vernon, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate you, sir.
All right, thanks, guys.
You bet. Northside Mustang Club.
They are so active in the community, doing all kinds of different stuff everywhere around town.
Ford Motor Company recalling select 2020 through 2022 Ford Explorer models because of a problem with a rear axle bolt that may fracture.
Just one.
That's all it would take.
There's more.
Yeah. They're built at the Chicago Assembly Plant between October 22nd, 2018 and April 11th of 2022. Dealers will replace the defective rear axle mounting bolts with new parts free of charge. Ram 1500, 2500, 3500 from the model years 22 to 24. Rear view image may not display on the screen. Nissan Ariya for 2023 lost a drive power from the inverter software because of an error. Incorrectly adjusted headlights on the Mercedes-Benz A220, AMG GLA 35, and the GLA 250 for 22 model year. Pardon me. Erosion in U.S. consumers' automotive brand loyalty halted in the first half of 2023. According to S&P Global Mobility, industry's brand loyalty rate was 50.6% in the first half, unchanged from the same period in 2022. And despite a 7% increase in the volume of consumers who returned to market in the period overall, according to an analysis of new vehicle registration data by S&P Global Mobility. Brand loyalty rates, 54.7% through the first half of 2019 and increased slightly to 54.8%. Tesla nameplates have high consumer retention rates, but the Model 3 sedan is a leader with more than 74% of its returning customers remaining loyal to the brand.
Wow. That's quite a bit.
Usually bumping up and buying the Model Y crossover. Brand loyalty rates for Buick and Land Rover rose by more than 10 percentage points, putting them among the highest year-over-year gainers. Leaders in model loyalty included the Ford F-Series pickup, the Lincoln Nautilus crossover.
I like the Buick. I do.
Mars, this is for you.
Uh-oh.
Oh, Becky, are you listening?
He's taking his headphones off. He's leaving.
Dream Girls Detroit, which bills itself as the Motor City's premier topless entertainment mecca,
Wait, let me write that down.
is admitting UAW members age 21 or older for free as long as the strike lasts.
Oh, wow.
The offer is worth as much as $55 depending on the day.
$55 to get in?
$55 depending on the day of the week and the time.
Bring your
cover charge.
I'm telling you.
Free drink minimum.
bring your picket stick.
While on strike, workers get no pay for the first week and then $500 a week from the union in lieu of their regular paychecks. Meanwhile, Ultra Cannabis is cutting prices by 25% for UAW members.
For some reason, I know where that's at. Dude.
I'm just thinking, if you could work out a deal, if they were having lunch at the first place.
Yeah.
And they get high before
No. You go to the cannabis, and then you go for lunch.
That's what I'm saying. You could work it out to where it's a package deal.
It's like having Girl Scouts sell cookies out in front of them.
There you go.
Another dispensary, the Greenhouse of Walled Lake, is giving them half off. Michigan legalized recreational marijuana use in 2018 through a voter-approved referendum.
It's $55 to get in, but $500 to get out.
Yeah, out of jail. Oh, God.
So you can go stand there on the picket sign and wonder, what the hell am I doing here?
Exactly. I'm hungry.
Yeah. And then DoorDash for
there you go. Uber food
for wings
Uber
and
Eats.
beer.
They've been handing out Doritos.
All 85 scholarship players on the University of Utah's football team are getting a Ram 1500 Bighorn pickup.
Oh, wow.
To drive in one of the largest marketing deals with college athletes since such arrangements became allowed 2 years ago. The deal is worth about $6 million, including insurance. The organization has raised about half that since May and aims to have the rest of it by December. The $61,000 trucks are being leased through Ken Garff Automotive Group, which can then sell them to retail customers after a year. Players returning to the team each year would then get new trucks as long as the deal continues. Garff, who chairs the Crimson Collective Board, led the project in partnership with FTW 360, the creator of Utah Athletics' new streaming app. Each truck is wrapped with an ad for the app. Mars, there is our new marketing plan. Many members of the Garf family, including founder Ken Garf, are Utah alumni.
And Ken Garf has got stores here in the Houston market.
It's a large.
Quite a few of them
large-
here in the Houston market.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, which high school or junior high could we get to? 'Cause
No,
we can't
I
get to
think this is
university.
college, but I don't. But even that, I'm not sure I'd want to drive one of those trucks after those boys have
Yeah.
had.
Well,
Like
you
you
get
say.
the AI camera, and you'll be okay.
Well, there you go. There's that.
Don't
Only if you could watch.
You would.
He had to go there, ladies
did.
and
He
gentlemen.
always does.
speak of munchies.
About 39% of parts suppliers surveyed by the Motor and Equipment Manufacturers Association this week said they have laid off workers because of the UAW strike against the Detroit Three. That's a higher figure than the association reported in its previous survey 2 weeks ago, when around 30% of respondents said they were forced to lay off workers. It's unclear if the layoffs are limited to the U.S. So the strike is affecting everybody across the board on all of the suppliers. And remember, car manufacturers are really car assemblers. They don't make anything for the most part. There is an exception to the rule throughout the industry, one being the Toyota manufacturing plant, I think it's in northern Mississippi, that they actually stamp their own parts.
Ford
body.
still did some of
Yeah, I
that.
think there's a lot of stamping still goes on at different assembly plants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think
So,
so.
at anyway, so there's the exception to the rule on that. And let's see. Do I want to get this?
You got about a
in?
minute.
Yeah, I know. So let me do this. There's been a Texas-sized Holden Lexus lineup for a very long time, according to the brand and its dealers, when the aptly named Lexus TX crossover considered it officially plugged now. Not only will the TX be the largest Lexus on sale globally as it begins to arrive in dealerships this month, but it's also intended to attract and keep younger buyers as their families grow and they need to carry more and more passengers.
And while the UAW is on strike and you can't buy a Suburban or an Expedition, you can go get a Lexus
Yeah.
TX.
So there's that.
Well, they had that at Constellation Field, the Lexus event. It was going on right now. Well, it was all week.
Yeah. 24 Lexus TX will come in 3 trims, standard, premium, and luxury, and 3 powertrains. 2.4-liter turbo gasoline that is going to get 275 horsepower. The 2.4-liter inline 4 produces 366 horsepower, and the 550H Plus plug-in hybrid, it's going to get 406 horsepower. So there's something to look forward to if you're a Lexus fan.
It's about
Okay.
the size of a Tahoe.
Quick break now. We'll be right back. You're on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Thanks for being with us today. The original group of Lupi Tortilla restaurants will have you telling your family and friends just what the original recipes mean when it comes to the best fajitas in Southeast Texas. Founder Stan Holt invites you to visit the original Lupi Tortilla near I-10 and Highway 6. Here's the original house that inspired the design of all the rest and the original charm that helped make Lupi Tortilla the go-to destination for Houston Tex-Mex. Speaking of original, nothing can compete with the original lime pepper marinade that everyone will agree makes Lupi Tortilla award-winning beef fajitas the best anywhere. Lupi Tortilla Katy is another location that gives you the same quality and service Houstonians have come to expect at Lupi's. It's located just off I-10 and the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard in Katy. Find yourself in Aggie Land? Head to the Lupi Tortilla in College Station, located just around the corner from Kyle Field. It's a great place to enjoy those famous frozen margaritas before or after the game. Headed east to Louisiana, stop in at the Lupi Tortilla in Beaumont. It too's on I-10. You can't miss it. The original group of Lupi Tortilla restaurants invites you in for the best Tex-Mex anywhere. Houston's finest cars are invited to another Gulf Coast Auto Shield Car Social, Saturday, December 2nd, and you're invited too. Show off your personal pride and joy, or just stop in to see the likes of Lucid, Lamborghini, Porsche, Ferrari, and more. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your one-stop shop for paint detailing, coatings, window tint, clear bras, and wheel repair. The Car Social is your opportunity to get a tour of this state-of-the-art facility located at 11275 South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. It all takes place Saturday, December 2nd, 9 to noon. This is the perfect opportunity to connect with other car enthusiasts. From BMWs to Bentleys, Corvettes to McLarens, the Car Social is a different kind of show. Talk to the owners. See Gulf Coast Auto Shield's facility. You'll be amazed. Put it on your calendar now. The Gulf Coast Auto Shield Car Social, Saturday, December 2nd, 9 to noon at 11275 South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there too. We'll see you then.
Rogers Dab Chevrolet and GM Performance has the absolute best price that you're going to find on GM parts, transmissions, and engines in the country. With the largest inventory as well that you're going to find in the U.S., Rogers Dab Chevrolet and GM Performance has what you need and has the best customer service to back it up. Contact one of our Texas team members for quotes and get that on your dock or at your front door as soon as possible. Rogers Dabs GM Performance, best inventory, best prices that you're going to find in the United States. Rogers Dabs GM Performance.
It's the In Real Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, we're going to talk to the missing Richard Tomlin, Apex Auto Works. He's harder to find than Joe Biden.
Oh.
We're going to talk to him about road racing in Mexico. Didn't know they had roads in Mexico. I got to drive the 2023 Dodge Hornet. I'll give you my thoughts on it.
Yeehaw.
Conrad has the cruise-in calendar and This Week in Auto History, and later we'll bring you some of the stories making automotive news headlines this week. Just ahead on the In Real Time Car Talk Show. Howdy, along with Mike out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We always need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Thanks so much for joining us today. And he's been found, ladies and gentlemen, hanging out at a place down in Alvin called Apex Auto Works. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, live and in living color. It is Richard Tomlin.
Searching for Don's drain.
Yeah, we're making progress on that.
Are we?
Yeah. So, for those of you who don't know, the Corvette has a known seat issue that likes to have a current draw. And after much testing of fuses and power drains, we identified the circuit. We have replaced the seat switch, which Eckler's let us down on that. And then we went to eBay, and eBay Motors came through with a Corvette part. So that's here and that's in. The best news of the whole thing is we still have a power draw. So it's got to be the module or one of the two motors that are running on the same circuit. And now it's just identifying those as what the next.
So we've got it narrowed down to the seat.
So now you just start
log jam
cutting wires till the drain goes away.
Oh, I'm not cutting wires. No, sir. Like, you really want to make Don mad, cut some wires. That'd be entertaining.
Yeah,
just put his seat in the right place and cut the wire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you do in the race cars, right? Just pull the factory seat out and throw a bucket seat in and bolt it down and go.
Yeah.
This one's not quite like that. So we're lucky enough to have another C5 here with seats out that we've been borrowing some parts off of to help verify exactly what we're seeing. So it's been a process, but we're getting close.
Yay.
You hear me clapping, don't you?
Yeah, no, I got it.
Yeah, I made an offer to him. I said, look, we got to wait for the part to come in. If you want me to come and get the car out of the shop, I'll be more than happy to do that. And it was like crickets. Nothing. So I finally called him a couple of days later. Guess what I get? I'm sorry. This phone number is out of the country. We don't know where it is, but it ain't anywhere near that we have any kind of cell phone tower
And
service.
so is your car.
And so is your car.
So he's hiding from you, Don.
No, apparently he went down to Mexico.
Oh,
So
boy.
that black Corvette he was towing
Yeah.
looked awful familiar.
No, he wasn't
Black
towing it. He
anymore.
was driving it down there. No.
It's yellow now.
Hello, Richard. Tell me where did you go in Mexico?
First stop was Tecate for what they call the Tourist Cup. Basically, it's a 9-mile section of road that is no longer used.
Wait a minute. Don't they make beer down there? Mm-hmm.
They do make some pretty good beer there.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cheap. I will say that. So we went out there and did about 180 miles of road racing around the Tecate Loop, 9-mile loop. We only had 4 cars that showed up for that one, but we had 32 bikes. 2 people injured on bikes.
Oh, boy.
One that broke an arm, other one broken pelvis. It's motorcycles. When they crash, bad things happen.
Yes, they are. Yes, they do.
But it is nice to see bikes and cars together at one event. Let's just say somewhat coexisting at least.
Did they actually, were they racing on the same track at the same time?
Not at the same time. We split them up in the heats. So bikes first, then cars.
Gotcha.
And one of the teams actually didn't have it there, but they raced sidecars. So I'm working on getting these guys to the Grospec Grand Prix. Like you see in Isle of Man. They've done Isle of Man. And,
Yeah.
The monkey on the side just terrifies me. But I think it's so cool.
Yeah,
Monkey racing.
hanging as far off to the edge as you can.
That would be Mars.
Either edge.
We
Mars
would.
is all in.
Yeah, Mars
I
is.
would love to go to the Isle of Man. I don't know I'd had enough guts to drive on
No,
it.
we'd strap you down in there. You couldn't
Oh, in
get
the
out.
sidecar?
On the
Used to that.
sidecar.
Yeah, I might could do it in a sidecar.
No. You need to watch these guys on sidecars.
watch these sidecars.
They have
It's,
completely lost their minds.
Yeah, because basically, I think that the sidecar, all it is correct me if I'm wrong, isn't it just a little platform that you could actually move
correct.
around
It's like a
on it?
skateboard.
And the guy is, whether he's hanging off the side of the sidecar or he's climbing over on the other side and
hanging off
hanging
the
off the
handlebars,
driver.
yeah.
You know, in his head, and Isle of Man may be inches away from a rock wall at 120 miles an hour.
But there's 10
Not
other
for me.
There's 10 other people around you doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So if you fall off, you could get a ride back.
There's a slower one in front of you.
Yeah.
One behind you. So.
Oh my
Yeah,
God!
so we finished up the Tourist Cup, and we went south down Ensenada. Basically went to San Pedro Matir, which they compare to the Yellowstone that we have here. It's an observatory road, so very barren road. Has 9 observatories at the top, representing 7 countries of the world. Supposedly number 1 place in the world to look at stars. That road we close, and we race up a 19-mile hill climb section of that. So you can somewhat compare it to Pikes Peak, but yet very different because it's a older burro trail, let's call it that. So the engineering side of that road is not near as nice as what Pikes Peak has, thereby giving it a lot greater challenge.
So you really got to haul ass up the hill.
Oh, donkey is what I was thinking. So, Richard, when you go down there, you go as a team, as a group. There's other racers, and I'm thinking, is it really safe to be down there in another country doing that?
If you read the stuff online and you listen to the State Department, they're going to tell you that as soon as we cross the border, we're going to get chopped up and killed and shot and dragged across and hung up on bridges. Knock on wood. In the now 10 years of traveling back and forth 4 times a year, sometimes 5, we, knock on wood, have never had an issue of any sort. Now, we're also the ones that put our cars on open trailers. We have everything out for people to see. We're not going there acting like we're somebody that we're not. We're just a bunch of racers trying to go have a good time. And Baja specifically, we call it Mexico Light, Diet Mexico, because it's really Baja California. It's kind of its own entity. So there's a whole lot less law, is what I would call it. Kind of Wild West of countries. Mexico proper, when we do Chihuahua, La Carrera, which is going on right now, there's a lot more paperwork, a lot more tracking on where you're going, what you're doing. The government's aware. All of the promoters make the government aware of what we're doing, and we're there. Trucks get stickered up and labeled. They know who you are. They know what you're there for. They know you're bringing revenue to their town.
Not only that, but there's actually quite a few drag strips in Mexico. I mean, you don't hear a lot about them. And then they have the Formula E down in Mexico City.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a pretty
Formula
big
One,
car
Mexico
culture.
City. NASCAR is running a couple events down there too.
Right.
They've got their own NASCAR Mexico series that runs in Chihuahua. I've seen it run twice while we were actually there at Chihuahua. So NASCAR is pretty big down there as well.
Yeah. So they have an
like
appreciation
motorsports.
for it.
Yep, absolutely.
I guess you could pick you up a couple of dogs down there and bring them back to Chihuahuas.
Yeah.
Barbecue them.
No
They'll
dogs.
fit on a Weber.
They're great with hollandaise sauce.
Yeah, no, I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about, buying dogs. Somebody got busted for bad behavior of dogs down somewhere around here. They were breeding Chihuahuas, and they were
I
all.
remember Biden's German Shepherd keeps biting the Secret Service guys too.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know where we got. I got off track, I guess, by talking about Joe Biden and the introduction of you, Richard. I didn't mean to go that far with it, but
okay.
as I said, we talked to the missing Richard Tomlin. Harder to find than Joe Biden.
Yeah, but at least he's not falling down all the time.
That's true, and stumbling, trying to get on platforms and stuff. Well, Richard, so
Circus
what?
One, it's not so much fun though. It's 3,500 miles, 72 hours of drive time,
Yikes.
towing a C5 Corvette. So,
Yeah, C5 Corvette.
Touche.
Yeah, touche. So, Richard, what besides my car, and I'm just, in the line there to get things repaired. What fun things have you got going on there in the shop?
We've got a Crown Vic that we're pulling the old P71 police package, pulling the automatic transmission out and putting a Mustang 5-speed into it. So that's going to be all kinds of fun.
And what kind of motor? Are you going to put that motor back in it?
It's going to stick with the same, 4.8 liter, 4.6 Ford Motorsports. I mean, it's nothing crazy. It needs a baby cam to it, but other than that, it runs. It's fun. Taking an automatic out of any car and putting a manual in gains you 25 to 30 horse immediately and a different joy in driving it.
Yeah,
well,
you can actually be engaged with what's going on.
I did that
with the car.
once.
Plus a lot of customized fabrication work, because Crown Vic, there's not like you can go somewhere and buy a used clutch pedal assembly to fit in a Crown Vic. You're going to have to...
Actually using the one out of the Mustang. And there's a couple companies that make them. We actually had choices on where we purchased the kit for this. So there's very little that we have to invent. Even the drive shaft spacer is already made. So we think this swap's going to take us 2 to 3 days and be back on the ground and driving.
So when a customer comes in and they say they need a motor swap, transmission swap, whatever the case, and you do that, what happens to that old motor? Do they get it back? Do you scrap it? What happens?
Some people want it back. Some people put it in the garage as a spare. Other people just sell it on Marketplace. And then some people say, yeah, just scrap it. Just depends on what it is, what value it actually has.
Do you have engines that they said you just keep it? Do you have any of those laying around?
Be nice, Don. Be nice.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, he's got one out of a 2001 C5 Corvette.
That's funny.
Yeah, I've got a low mileage C5 one.
Yeah.
No, actually, I've got a couple little Miata motors shoved around, a couple old Mopar stuff. But, man, you can quickly gather so much stuff.
Yeah.
It's painful. So you really try and just say, no, get it out of here.
Yeah.
It's just easier that way.
Kind of
take
like
it
the
with you.
car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But fun projects, we had one dropped off last night. That's our first dipping our toe in the big end of the pool is we're going to do our first Tesla swap. So we will be making a rear-wheel drive Pontiac Fiero GT out of a Tesla 3.
That could be a cool little ride, because there's not
It's
much
going to
weight.
be very, very fun, and it's being done in a motorsports format. We're not looking to get mileage or anything off this. We're looking to go set fast laps.
Are you recording
So
or
it's going to be a little different than what everybody else has done.
videotaping this for posterity or making some type of historical document
We have
of it?
not. There's been a lot of discussion about that. The challenges I ran into was once I had somebody come in and record, 30 minutes of video, then it took them 4 weeks to edit the video down. And by that point, you'd missed 4 weeks of what was going on in the shop.
Yeah.
So it's a very large endeavor to get the production of the YouTube and shorts and stuff of that nature. But we've got to do something because we've got some pretty cool, fun projects going on right now. And I think people would enjoy seeing a little bit more of it than just what we are able to give you guys.
Yeah, just set up a webcam and a subscription for people to jump on and watch it.
We know where you can get a smarter AI set up so that you could.
He doesn't know what you're talking about, but
Well,
we do.
I have faith he was watching the show.
And
earlier.
I'm thinking Pikes Peak is in the future for that.
Yeah.
Is that where you're going to go with the Fiero? You're going to head for Pikes Peak with it?
We'll talk about that later.
It's just
Depends on how successful.
Get it running first and then decide on that.
Done.
Yep. There's a lot of big plans in store for that little car. We'll see what we can get done in the next 6-7 months, and we should be on track.
So-
Once we're on track and driving, then things will start manifesting.
What year Fiero is the base car?
I don't know. It's the GT, so it's the last year of it.
Okay, so 88. Yeah, well, 88, that's when they finally fixed all the suspension issues, because prior to
But I'm
that.
getting rid of all the rear suspension issues.
Right.
So
And they stopped
We'll
production
see.
after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gonna be
Well,
fun.
that'll
Gonna be a
be-
challenge
that'd be
and
a fun
something
car.
a little different.
Lemons. Take it to the Lemons race.
No. You don't want to
Not
destroy it.
enough. Not enough battery to keep that thing alive.
Richard,
Not enough battery.
so what is your next trip out of town?
Geez, I don't think I have anything planned. The rest of PRI and possibly SEMA.
You think
SEMA,
you're
we got
gonna
an
go SEMA?
invitation last week, so we maybe end up attending again for that one. But PRI for sure up in Indianapolis, early December. Other than that, should be here at the shop trying to get some cars done, ready to go racing.
So what's the status on the Grand Wagoneer you guys made? Where's it, and what's going on with that?
was thinking
It's
that
here.
too.
Probably getting ready to pull the transmission out of it. 6L80 just didn't want to seem to shift gears, and we've done all the computer side of it. Doesn't seem to work, so we're just going to pull the transmission and go through it.
A GM transmission problem? No, you'd never believe that, would you?
Yeah, some
Sorry.
things. No. Anyway,
Well, Richard, when I
it's true
dropped
for a reason.
when I dropped off the Corvette, I saw that designer Jeep that you had there.
That's the one I was talking
Yeah.
about.
Oh, is that the one you're talking
Or
about?
Ashley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, it had a transmission issue?
Yep.
Huh. Imagine
Not
that.
happy. And
Well,
it's not like it's been driven a lot, but it's just not happy.
yeah. Well, I will tell you that is a pretty cool. I love the way that the thing looks. And Leslie even said, "Ooh, look at the interior." I said, "Yeah, it's been a show car."
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not
Literally.
know that it had a transmission issue. Well, at any
That's why it's
rate,
back.
well, I wish you the best of luck in the Corvette world, and hopefully,
we'll
maybe
be
next weekend after we get the Hemi Hideout, I could come down there and get it.
Yep.
I know you'll be glad to get it out of your hair.
We'll get it solved, and we'll be in touch.
Well, Richard, it's always great to talk to you. Apex Auto Works and Richard Tomlin, the do-all master of everything.
We just play.
I know. Well,
Talk to y'all soon.
yeah. Okay. Take care.
Thanks.
What do you? He's always.
You
always
think
got
of it, he'll
something.
build it.
I
Yeah.
know. Or fix it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of those kind of guys.
You break it, he'll fix it.
I guess.
A Tesla Fiero swap. How cool is that?
I
You know
haven't
that-
heard anybody trying to do that,
On,
so I think it's really good.
With Ken Diggett, his show, Bitchin' Rides, you know, he's made those Corvettes, the look 53 or whatever, the lookalikes. They're doing one of those electric. It's going to be some episodes of that.
Oh, really? I didn't realize that. That ought to be
Interesting.
I
fun.
saw some commercials on it.
Time now for the cruise-in calendar, and I've got one. Can I add to one?
Sure.
Please do, Don.
Okay. So this is a cruise-in and an event because it's a judged car show. It's going on right now.
Can you do that?
Good Grub and Gears. You down in the Friendswood area, head on over to Stevenson Park, if you know where that is. It's a car show and a fall festival down there. As soon as the show's over with here this morning, I'm going to head down there myself, taking my glasses so I can see
There you go.
the eclipse.
Don't use those while you're driving.
Thank you. No,
But
Are you
you
going to
can't
be
see.
signing hero cards while you're there?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Anyway, the judging and award presentation, judging is going on now. Award presentation at 3:00 this afternoon. So come join
And
us.
your
Say hello.
Corvette's in Alvin.
And my Corvette's in Alvin. So
Not far.
At any rate, continue on.
So, B-Bodies and Bombshells on the South Freeway in Pearland, Texas. That's tomorrow. Just an open cruise-in. Also tomorrow is the Buddha Show and Shine at Cabela's in Buddha, Texas.
It's excited.
The Starbucks Cruise in Corpus Christi is tomorrow at 7 p.m. The Cameron Car Club Classic Car
Sunday night at 7 p.m.
Show.
Weird.
Starbucks.
Okay, go ahead.
The Cameron Car Club Classic Car Show, in Fannin Avenue in Cameron, Texas. That's tomorrow night or tomorrow morning at 9 a.m.
God.
Also tomorrow morning in Madisonville is the Texas Mushroom Fest Car Show. Come and see all the psychedelic paint jobs. What the heck? The Texas Mushroom Car Show. I just thought that was great.
I think it is too.
So is it? They make it into tea, or are they smoking it?
Magic mushrooms. I guess.
Psilocybin.
The Pumpkin Patch Car Show at Cornerstone Baptist Church in Kuntz, Texas. That's out there near you guys. Kuntz. It's out there just, what is it, west of Silsby.
He can't talk because he doesn't have his headset on.
The Fall Festival Car Show at the Hempstead Church of Christ is tomorrow at 3 in the afternoon. It's an open car show. Cars and Cocktails at Sawyer Park Ice House in Spring, Texas is the 15th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Also on the 15th is the Bastrop Coffee Cruise-In. The Cleanest Whip Car Show at Harker Heights Event Center in Harker, Texas. Harker Heights, Texas, and that's on the 15th, starting at 4 p.m. You know, some of these I just like because of the name.
I can tell that.
All right.
Yeah.
Back to you, Don.
Thank you so much there, Conrad. All right, time now for this hour's car review. The 2023 Dodge Hornet. You've probably seen the commercials if you haven't seen the car yet, because it's all new. The Hornet comes in these trim levels: the GT, the GT Plus, the RT, and the RT Plus. I had the GT Plus. This is a small crossover. Some may say it's a mid-size. Okay, you take your pick. It's not the great big one. All right. It seats 5 passengers, all new for 2023, and the color that I had is Acapulco Gold. Now, for
some stoners naming it car.
you know that somebody up there at Stellantis headquarters in Auburn Hills, Michigan said,
Did we really
I'm
let
gonna,
that happen?
I'm gonna play a little joke.
flashback
I'm gonna
there.
play a little joke on those old people that are out there.
Hey,
that
if anybody's paying attention.
With the Maui Wowie interior.
Hey, that's no joke.
And they're going to Madison for
no
the Texas Mushroom Fest. They need to tub it out and put a Hellcat in it.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Exterior features sharp-looking front fascia with large lower grille integrated into it. Bulging fenders with black molding on the wheel openings. Slender, menacing rear lighting. It's a new twist on a small SUV. It is different. Have you driven it?
No, I haven't. It's just I saw the pictures and stuff there, and
Well, you saw it sitting out here in the driveway. I think the overall look is what I really like about it. I mean, it even with the Acapulco Gold, it just works for that.
Makes
vehicle.
it look better, doesn't it?
That's it.
Yeah, man, this is great.
The interior smells
I
nice.
find it interesting that you know about all that sort of thing. Interior highlights: high marks.
High marks.
For the dash design and functionality, seats are very comfortable and supportive with indestructible surfaces. Passive phone charger is a little bit too tight for my Android that has a case on it.
High and passive.
Passive phone charger, because you have to put the phone in vertically, right? So you've got to kind of run it up in there and then shove it down
Kinda
onto
lock
the
it in.
charger. Yeah.
yeah.
It was just a little bit too tight with the phone case
Well,
that
your
I've got
phone is
on
6
there.
inches.
Cargo trunk room is more than expected in this size of a vehicle. What I liked about it, the design, what could use improvement. The new infotainment system is a bit more complicated than it was before. I know I didn't have too much time with it, but when you get it, you play with it and you tell me what you think of it.
Which is odd because you guys have all bragged about the Uconnect being the best one out there.
Yes. Well, it's different. They've changed it up a lot.
Really?
Yeah. So just thought I'd throw that out there at you. 2.0 liter inline 4-cylinder, turbocharged with 258 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque. Now, when you get to the RT, it's got a smaller displacement, but more horsepower. They wind it up pretty tight. 9-speed automatic transmission, tow rating 2,000 pounds, which is a lot, I think. Manufacturer's miles per gallon is at 21 city, 29 highway for a combined of 24. I got 29.4 miles per gallon over 560 miles. This is the one that I took down to San Leon. Not San Leone, but San Leon. Thank you.
It's like Leon Sphinx. Got to miss that front tooth.
What I liked about it, the peppiness of the motor. And the GT has this motor, the RT has the other motor. All right. What could use improvement? It seems at times a bit disconnected between the start-stop feature and the transmission and the turbo lag. They all kind of combine. So if you are, I'm a 2-foot driver. So I've got the left foot for the brake, the right foot. So when I'm ready to go, brake off, accelerator on, quick, right?
Right.
And I did that one time trying to get across an intersection, and
Didn't like it.
it wasn't real happy with that. Ride and handling, I like the sportiness of the ride. What could use improvement? Perhaps a softer ride option. Just saying, I didn't drive it long enough. Drove it 560 miles, but I thought that the suspension may be a little bit tight on this one. Pricing. You can get in one of these for $34,995. The price as tested was $41,810. Let me back up. The base trim price is $34,995. Price is tested $41,810, and that also has the tech package and the track package. The tech package was $2,245. The track package was $2,995. That's why the huge price jump from the base trim up to the prices tested. Base model price, and this is where I think that really I like to focus the attention on. You could get in one of these.
GT.
In the GT, which is the base model, $29,995. But with this motor in it now, okay? So you get a lot, really, I think, for the price of $29,995. The competitors are the Mazda CX-30 that starts at $22,950. Yes, it's priced higher, the GT is, than the Mazda CX-30 for the entry level. The VW Tiguan starts at $26,950. And the Honda HR-V starts at $23,800. So it's kind of on the upper end of the price level there. But at any rate, it's a good-looking vehicle. The interior and the dash, spot on. And $29,995 gets you in one of these things.
Acapulco Gold.
Acapulco Gold. Don't forget that.
I think the wheelbase is too small. That's why I think it's stiff when I was in it.
Do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a little too short, my opinion.
Well, it's a small SUV.
Yeah.
So you got to consider the source. This would be one of those for the hot rodder and his wife and their new baby. So he's got a little bit of the hot rod going on there, and especially with that RT. That RT's got some...
With the hotter motor?
Yeah. 288 horsepower out of that four-banger.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. It rocks and rolls. It also has a hot button on the steering wheel because it has an electric
kind of a
plug-in.
push to pass.
Plug-in, yeah. Push
Did
to
you have
pass.
paddle shifters on the one that you had?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't remember. Probably. Be my guess. All right. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available 24/7. That's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week through the iHeartRadio app. Just look for In Wheel Time Car Talk. We also video stream on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. And podcasts, yes, they are available from your favorite podcast supplier. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this very quick break. The original group of Lupi Tortilla Restaurants will have you telling your family and friends just what the original recipes mean when it comes to the best fajitas in Southeast Texas. Founder Stan Holt invites you to visit the original Lupi Tortilla near I-10 and Highway 6. Here's the original house that inspired the design of all the rest and the original charm that helped make Lupi Tortilla the go-to destination for Houston Tex-Mex. Speaking of original, nothing can compete with the original lime pepper marinade that everyone will agree makes Lupi Tortilla award-winning beef fajitas the best anywhere. Lupi Tortilla Katy is another location that gives you the same quality and service Houstonians have come to expect at Lupi's. It's located just off I-10 and the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard in Katy. Find yourself in Aggieland? Head to the Lupi Tortilla in College Station, located just around the corner from Kyle Field. It's a great place to enjoy those famous frozen margaritas before or after the game. Headed east to Louisiana, stop in at the Lupi Tortilla in Beaumont. It too's on I-10. You can't miss it. The original group of Lupi Tortilla restaurants invites you in for the best Tex-Mex anywhere. Houston's finest cars are invited to another Gulf Coast Auto Shield Car Social, Saturday, December 2nd, and you're invited too. Show off your personal pride and joy, or just stop in to see the likes of Lucid, Lamborghini, Porsche, Ferrari, and more. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your one-stop shop for paint detailing, coatings, window tint, clear bras, and wheel repair. The Car Social is your opportunity to get a tour of this state-of-the-art facility located at 11275 South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. It all takes place Saturday, December 2nd, 9 to noon. This is the perfect opportunity to connect with other car enthusiasts. From BMWs to Bentleys, Corvettes to McLarens, the Car Social is a different kind of show. Talk to the owners. See Gulf Coast Auto Shield's facility. You'll be amazed. Put it on your calendar now. The Gulf Coast Auto Shield Car Social, Saturday, December 2nd, 9 to noon at 11275 South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there too. We'll see you then.
Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet and GM Performance has the absolute best price that you're going to find on GM parts, transmissions, and engines in the country. With the largest inventory as well that you're going to find in the U.S., Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet and GM Performance has what you need and has the best customer service to back it up. Contact one of our Texas team members for quotes and get that on your dock or at your front door as soon as possible. Rogers Dabbs GM Performance. Best inventory, best prices that you're going to find in the United States. Rogers Dabbs GM Performance.
It's the In Real Time Car Talk Show today, coming to you from the Sugar Mill in Sugar Land, Texas. Just ahead, Vicki Ziegler, president of Classic Car Club of America. Conrad has This Week in Auto History, and we'll get you caught up on the stories making car news this week. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We always need more Jeff Zekin. I am your commercial mess-up man, Don Armstrong.
Uh-oh.
Well, I pressed the wrong button.
It's all good.
Sorry.
No worries.
That's okay. We're all busy pushing your buttons anyhow.
No, only
No.
you pressed my
We're
button.
pushing his buttons, looking for the mute button. That's what we're looking for.
And the Acapulco Gold
There you go.
Dodge Hornet. All right. Here she is, ladies and gentlemen. It's Vicki Ziegler, president of the Classic Car Club of America. Vicki, good morning to you.
Good morning to you, fellas. How are you today?
Well, we're fine,
She's
thank
been
you.
waiting a long time. She came in early.
Did she?
Yeah.
I was sorry to keep you waiting, but we have a schedule to keep, you know.
I totally got it. I was enjoying the show.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that.
Plus, the liquor store's just opened.
Oh,
And
my
the dispensary.
So, Vicki, tell me, what is the Classic Car Club of America?
I am very happy to, and thank you so much for having me on today. The Classic Car Club of America is open to all car enthusiasts, but the cars that we feature and that we judge are cars that were built between 1915 and 1948. During what we consider the classic era. And our club has been around for 70 years, and we've been offering a club that provides absolutely outstanding publications. Our magazines, which come out 4 times a year, are spectacular, and everybody should want to join just for the magazines that are produced. We also provide for tours across the country. We've actually had a tour in Texas in the past. We have a very active club in Texas, and what you can do is you can join the national organization. We have 28 regions across the country, and we also have people from across the pond, so to speak, and Australia. We also, we go on tours. We will either drive our classic cars to the tour starting point, or some people ship if it's way across the country. For example, we had a Grand Classic earlier this year that went from Buffalo all through Canada and then returned to Buffalo. And we have little tours where the regions plan and execute those tours where people can take a few nights and enjoy driving their classic car. And it's a great organization to belong to. You don't need to own a classic car, but we do have a list of over 100 marks of cars that we consider full classics. Now, that term, classic car, is used by everybody, as you all know, of course. But we actually have a definition of a full classic to be a car that was built between 1915 and 1948. And the important thing that is it's distinguished for their fine design, high engineering standards, superior workmanship, and to encourage the maintenance, the restoration, and preserve such classic cars, and that's what we consider a full classic. Now, there's other great clubs around, but that's the cars that we judge and take on tours are the full classics.
What kind of car do you have?
I have a couple of full classics. I have a 1941 four-door Cadillac convertible.
Oh.
Beautiful car. We've probably put 20,000 miles on it during the time that we've owned it. We have a fabulous 1936 Packard four-door convertible that was once owned by a Pebble Beach judge, and we bought it about 10 years ago.
Wow.
And then we have some non-classic cars. So we just love cars.
Well, so do we.
I know it.
Needless
That's
to say.
why I'm on your show.
So do you have anybody in your club where are you?
Well, our club headquarters is in Chicago. We have 28 regions. I happen to be in the San Diego, Palm Springs region, which is in Southern California. But we have a region, as I say, in Texas. We have them all over, from Washington to Florida, from the Northeast all the way down to Southern California.
You know, I have to tell you that today on our sold cars roundup that we get from Hemmings once a week, there was a 1948 Chevrolet on there that had sold, and it was affordable, and it was canary yellow. I don't know, if that fits into what you guys do, but I thought, wow, now there's a perfect match, a 1948, because you guys go up to 1948.
Right, but that car is fabulous. I know what that car looks like. It really is. But that is a mark that is not recognized in our classification of classic cars.
Okay, so let's stop there and tell me about that, because I didn't know a Chevrolet is not considered a classic car.
Well, I think
no, it's a very beautiful classic car. It's not considered a full classic that we would be supporting in our club. It's beautiful, but the owner of that car could join our club, but in terms of having it judged along with our cars, that would not be allowed.
Why not?
Because we distinguish our cars by several categories: fine design, high-end engineering standards, superior workmanship, and they are the high-end cars. They're the Auburns, they're the Duesenbergs, they're the Hispanic Suiza, there's the Lincoln, the Buick, the Packard, the Cadillac.
So the Chevrolet is
but
kind of
not
like
the
the
Chevy
working
and the
man.
Ford, because they have enough of their own groups to
That's
join.
a working man's vehicle.
Well,
when you look at it that way.
I would just try to get that definition, because I don't know.
I didn't realize it until you brought it up.
I'm glad you brought it up, because it is something that does distinguish us. We consider ourselves kind of a niche in the car club, opportunities. We love those other cars, but it's not we have focused on the very high-end cars. Now, if you want a funny little story, when we got our start 70 years ago, and we would drive, this is a little bit before my time and yours too, but the owners of classic cars, like a beautiful 48 Cadillac, we could drive to AAC events, but our cars were considered quote unquote tow cars. We towed the 1950s cars. And then a group of gentlemen, about 6 of them, got together and said to themselves, hey, we need a little more, we need a club that focuses on these fine cars, even though AACA at the time didn't recognize them. And they were considered quote unquote tour cars.
Interesting.
How funny.
Yeah, I find the whole thing fascinating, that you guys focus on the true classic, high-end classic cars, the Pebble Beach cars.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Right. And we, this last year, there were 2 first in class classic car club owning cars that were bestowed that award. So yeah, now you've got it. But the other really wonderful thing is there are many people in our club that do not own a classic car, but they make huge contributions to our club in the way of working on assignments, helping us do different things. And so we absolutely love to have people that are interested in the era join our club, and they won't be sorry, because as I say, we have fabulous publications, beautiful magazines. We have great photographs. We are on Facebook and Instagram. And the other really fascinating thing, and I think you all and the audience would enjoy, the incredible articles that we publish, because we have a number of historians that are part of our club that research these beautiful pieces of art and can tell you a lot about them. We have a number of restores. Our immediate past president, Steve Babinski, is a well-known classic car restorer who is located in New Jersey. So it's wonderful for anyone who loves automobiles and loves cars of any category to get our publications and join our club. It will really enlighten you and entertain you, and it's really great.
Well, Vicki, I have to tell you that I made mention of this earlier in another interview that we were doing with the local car club. They're putting on a car judging clinic, how to judge a car, and I referenced a episode of Chasing Classic Cars with Wayne Carini, where they went, and it was a Pebble Beach type event that you guys go to all the time, and
right.
It was an event where the actual owner and the preparer of the car and Wayne were there. They were showing this particular car there. I don't remember what it was, but the interesting thing that stood out to me was the fact that the judges came and they had a little powwow before they actually judged the car, and they had an opportunity to present verbally the car, give a little bit of history, things that they actually worked on the car, maybe have found a special part that it was missing and they found it and there it is, and that sort of thing, and the back and forth with the judges that I thought was very unique and actually uplifting, because, you know, judging a car, especially in y'all's classes, it's almost as if we were, you know, going to meet Moses or something. You know, that we think of those judges of being at the upper echelon of car shows.
Well, that there are different methods of doing judging. And for example, in concourses like Pebble Beach, they do have a very sophisticated process that they go through. And in our club, we have our own judging process that is slightly different than, say, a concourse judging criteria sheet. We judge, first of all, we hold judging seminars too. And we have a form that lists the operational items on a car and also the appearance. We're also making sure that the car can start, that the lights work, and that everything looks as if it had just come off the showroom floor. Remember back in the day when there were car showrooms and people, would drive them off the lot. We want our cars to look just like they did when they rolled off the showroom floor. So we also certify our judges. And we hold these seminars across the country, and it's very, very interesting, and it helps to standardize the judging. And basically, just to tell you one thing about it, the car is judged on its own. It's not judged. In other words, there could be two 100-point cars in the same same classification. So they are not judged against each other. They are judged against a sheet that is standardized.
Right. The judge, it's a standard. They're judged against the standard.
Right.
Right.
So
very good point.
Do you have celebrity participants like Leno? Does Jay come in with his cars or Don
Armstrong?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Jay Leno has been to our annual meetings. Jay is a member, and he has done so much for the hobby. Jay is a good example of a person who absolutely loves all cars and is, I'm sure, in many different clubs. And we're happy that he is also a member of our club.
Well, Vicki, it is great to talk to you, and
very informative.
Very informative, and man, we sure appreciate the time that you spent with us, and we wish we were out there in Southern California with you this morning.
Well, I wish you were too, and if I could just suggest that if anyone wants to find out more information, if you will go to our website, it's classiccarclub.org, classiccarclub.org, and learn about us and join. If you're even slightly interested, try it for a year. You won't be sorry.
Well, I know that we won't. And matter of fact, Conrad's going to put a link up to your website here rather quickly. And so
already have.
He already has.
And,
so
thank you.
And you have a Lone Star region for us here in the Houston market.
Yes, we do. So we have a very, very active Texas region. So you can join the national organization and the Texas region, and you won't be sorry. I also want to mention that we also have a museum in Hickory Corners at the Gilmore Museum, and you might want to consider having one of the representatives from the Classic Car Club of America Museum join you one morning.
We shall. We absolutely shall. Vicki, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much. Take care, and next time you're in town, we'll buy you some coffee.
Okay, anytime.
Right.
Nice to talk to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, time now for This Week in Auto History.
And what a great segue, because our first car in 1945, the first post-war Cadillac was produced after World War II. And then the next full Cadillac design that was done was a 48 Cadillac. I think that's what Vicki said she had for her car, was gorgeous. A 48 Cadillac. You got to remember, during World War II, Cadillac was building tanks, and
it looks like one of them.
and also staff cars were Cadillacs during World War II. So Eisenhower's cars, the colonels and generals were all riding around in Cadillacs.
And on the German side, they were all Mercedes.
And they were all Mercedes. And then in 1954, the Willis Jeep CJ5 began production.
1941 Cadillac, she says.
Oh, I'm sorry. She had a 41 Cadillac. She had a pre-war Cadillac.
Anyway.
Thanks, Vicki. But the 1954 Willys CJ5 began production. In 1974, Dale Earnhardt Jr. was born. In 1981, the third generation Camaro went into production for the 1982 model year, and that was kind of the beginning of the mullets. The first generation only lasted from 67 through 69. And I know, Don, yours favorite's the 69.
Yeah.
The second generation lasted from what would be called 70 and a half, because you got to remember there was an auto strike in 70, so the 69 Camaros lasted longer and longer. And actually, this third generation Camaro was the first one available with a four-cylinder in it, but it was also the generation where they introduced the iconic IROC Z that first appeared in 1985. In 1992, a meteorite struck a 1980 Chevrolet Malibu in Peekskill, New York. Now, I lived not far from Peekskill, New York. Now, you got to remember, it hit the back of this 1980 Malibu that was probably about a $300 car. After the Malibu was struck by the meteorite, the car sold for $10,000, and the owner of the Malibu sold the meteorite for $69,000 to a group of collectors. Pretty cool little story.
A little bit of profit.
In 2014, the automotive industry witnessed a momentous occasion as Chrysler Fiat was formed, or Fiat Chrysler was formed as
Did you
Fiat
read this
and
before you
yes.
Okay.
When Fiat and Chrysler Group came together, forming a global powerhouse, which later was sold to Daimler and then Stellantis. So it's a never-ending flip-flop of ownership of the Chrysler Corporation. So that's this week in auto history.
Cool.
New vehicle inventory in the U.S. continues to build despite the production interruptions of the UAW strike and robust consumer shopping in September and throughout the third quarter. Cox Automotive estimated automakers started October with 2.21 million vehicles, representing an increase of 150,000 vehicles compared with the start of September. Inventory stands at its highest levels since early spring of 2021 and 60% higher from the year-ago month, according to Cox Automotive. But inventory is still 35% lower than where it was in 2019 before the pandemic.
Wow.
Days supply remained at 60 at the start of October, flat against September, but 14 days higher than the same period a year ago. If you want to buy a car, this would probably be a pretty good time to buy a car,
Yeah,
and especially an American-made car.
Yeah, with 60 days supply, that's they're still offering incentives on them.
Yeah, exactly. So there's that. Tesla Inc.'s top-selling electric vehicles now compete directly with gasoline cars on price. After the latest round of price reductions, the lower prices could cost the company $1.2 billion a year, according to at least one investor. At $38,990, the base Model 3 sedan now costs $8,700 less than the average amount paid for a car or truck in the U.S. The starting price for a Model Y crossover is $3,700, below the average auto price of roughly $48,000, according to an analysis by Bloomberg Green. Tesla started cutting prices at the start of the year, twisting the screws on legacy car makers already struggling to make electric vehicles profitable.
And think about how you'd feel if you bought an early Tesla and paid that $136,000 for the early Model S.
Well, my boss has a Tesla, and he's concerned because that's happening to him. He bought it at one level, and they'll keep dropping. So that was it.
That's it?
Yeah, for me.
That's it for you?
And now they're turning them into Fiero race cars.
Yeah.
My guess is that particular car must have been wrecked or something.
Yeah,
Wouldn't you think?
I would think so.
Yeah, because you wouldn't take a driving Tesla, one that still works, and pull the motor, the batteries, and everything else out of that car to put it in a race car.
Going to be an interesting build. You need to take a look at that when you're down there picking up the Corvette.
Yeah, he doesn't have a battery yet. He's got the drivetrain piece, but I saw on Facebook somebody asked him about the battery. He said he didn't have the battery yet.
Batteries.
It'd be interesting to see how he's going to package the batteries in the Fieros. You got to remember, in a Fiero, the gas tank was located in the center console area.
I did not remember that.
Yeah, that's where they put the gas tanks.
But he did say it was going to be rear-wheel drive.
Yeah,
too.
I'm wondering how if they can package that into that same area where the fuel tank was.
Well, my guess is, I don't know. It depends
what battery he gets, I guess.
And what is it going to be? A front-wheel drive, rear-wheel
he
drive?
said rear-wheel drive. They put all that drivetrain in the back.
So then they'll have the trunk.
No, that's where the engine is.
In the frunk.
In the frunk.
You just got through telling me that the drivetrain is in the back.
It is.
The motors are in the back.
Correct.
So there's room.
There's no trunk.
Never mind.
Jesus Christ. If they take the engine out of it, what the hell's going to be up front?
Nothing.
Well, there's no engine in the front of a Fiero anyhow. Fiero always had the engine in the back.
It did?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons.
What's up front? Is it spare tire? It's a trunk.
Place for the batteries. That's what we said.
I'm going to come over there and slap the hell out of you.
I got $20 on you.
Calling me
My
the dumbass.
God. You're the dumbass.
Gosh. Tune in next week.
Love you, Don.
No,
for
shut
as
up.
in-wheel time turns.
No, it's not.
As your stomach turns.
Okay.
You know,
You get a whole donkey
you
out
can
here.
dress him up and put lipstick on him, and a pig is still a pig is still a pig. And I'm sorry, but yeah, you just didn't get what I was saying.
I did. I let them go.
Thank you. And you're closer to him, so would you slap him for me?
Don't forget to remind everybody where we're going to be next week.
Why did you just tell everybody where we're going to be next
We are
week?
going to be at the Hemi Hideout.
We're going to be it's a club invitation event. So car clubs around are going to be showing up, and we're going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you'll be there too with us.
Special time for the
Well,
live.
the live show will be a special time, but we'll be on the air at 8 o'clock with a repeat, and then at 9 o'clock we're going to go live. We're going to have more of this fight after these messages, so stay with us. The original group of Loopy Tortilla Restaurants will have you telling your family and friends just what the original recipes mean when it comes to the best fajitas in Southeast Texas. Founder Stan Holt invites you to visit the original Loopy Tortilla near I-10 and Highway 6. Here's the original house that inspired the design of all the rest and the original charm that helped make Loopy Tortilla the go-to destination for Houston Tex-Mex. Speaking of original, nothing can compete with the original lime pepper marinade that everyone will agree makes Loopy Tortilla award-winning beef fajitas the best anywhere. Loopy Tortilla Katy is another location that gives you the same quality and service Houstonians have come to expect at Loopy's. It's located just off I-10 and the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard in Katy. Find yourself in Aggie Land? Head to the Loopy Tortilla in College Station, located just around the corner from Kyle Field. It's a great place to enjoy those famous frozen margaritas before or after the game. Headed east to Louisiana, stop in at the Loopy Tortilla in Beaumont. It too's on I-10. You can't miss it. The original group of Loopy Tortilla restaurants invites you in for the best Tex-Mex anywhere.
Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet and GM Performance has the absolute best price that you're going to find on GM parts, transmissions, and engines in the country. With the largest inventory as well that you're going to find in the U.S., Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet and GM Performance has what you need and has the best customer service to back it up. Contact one of our Texas team members for quotes and get that on your dock or at your front door as soon as possible. Rogers Dabbs GM Performance. Best inventory, best prices that you're going to find in the United States. Rogers Dabbs GM Performance.
Houston's finest cars are invited to another Gulf Coast Auto Shield Car Social, Saturday, December 2nd, and you're invited too. Show off your personal pride and joy, or just stop in to see the likes of Lucid, Lamborghini, Porsche, Ferrari, and more. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your one-stop shop for paint detailing, coatings, window tint, clear bras, and wheel repair. The Car Social is your opportunity to get a tour of this state-of-the-art facility located at 11275 South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. It all takes place Saturday, December 2nd, 9 to noon. This is the perfect opportunity to connect with other car enthusiasts. From BMWs to Bentleys, Corvettes to McLarens, the Car Social is a different kind of show. Talk to the owners. See Gulf Coast Auto Shield's facility. You'll be amazed. Put it on your calendar now. The Gulf Coast Auto Shield Car Social, Saturday, December 2nd, 9 to noon at 11275 South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there too. We'll see you then. Well, that's it for this week's In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Here's your invitation to follow us on Facebook, give us a like, tell your friends about us, and share our stuff if you will. We'll keep you posted on all things automotive all week long, including new car reviews, upcoming events, cruise-ins, racing, and car, truck, and SUV goodies. You can find the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show 24/7 through the iHeartRadio app. We live stream this show on Facebook, YouTube, and on InWheelTime.com every Saturday, 8 to 11 Central Time. Daily 30-minute podcasts available on your favorite podcast channel. The In Wheel Time Chief Engineer is David Ainsley. Our Marketing, Advertising Advisor, and Video Technical Director is We Need More, Jeff Zekin. For Booking Agent and Dog Zoomies, Mike Mars. Mr. Know-It-All and Facebook Fiend, his royalty, King Conrad DeLong. I'm Don Armstrong. We hope you'll join us for another live award-winning production of the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show next Saturday, where we will be at the fabulous Hemi Hideout in Brookshire, Texas, on all our In Wheel Time Car Talk outlets, right here on the Smoke and Mirrors Network. Have a great weekend, Mrs. Calabash, wherever you are, and enjoy this beautiful day.
Yeah, don't
and
forget
go outside and stare at the eclipse.